Ayidodi abonye o suyo. Ayidodi abonye o suyo. Ayidodi abonye o suyo. Abonye o suyo. Si ajayo. Lodi ono si ajayo. Asi agayo. Ayaja ipa o. Abonye o. Yayo dwala. Na seye chedila. Je na pwe be anu edrutuo. Abebe o. Royo si ageye. Asi ageye royo. Asi agayo. Asi agayo. Ayaja ipa o. Ayidodi abonye o. Yenyo te babimu. Yenyo te na kongo. Yenyo te babimu. Yenyo te na kongo. Webebe na meja imu. Awo abonye o. Mo ete aliswe loyo. Mo egba eloe. Ya mo egba eloe. Mo yanyo sone. Mobe abebe o. Abebe wa yanyo agolo. Apoyeblo loyo. Apoyeblo. Dodi abuya nyongba ye. Na dodi abuya nyongba ye. Dodi abuya nyongba ide abuya ngba ye. Eda we abonye o. Suyo ayidodi. Suyo royo abonye o. Suyo ayidodi. Suyo nasi agayo royo. Agayo nasi agayo. Royo nasi agayo. Agayo aya bi agonuwo. Nasi agayo aya lo gonuwo. Pajediye. Royo pajediye. Pada dudu ebo e. Na pada dudu ebo e. Yamu abi agonuwo. Ayidodi abonye o. Inu de du atigage. Na wede de mokwe wo abonye o. Suyo ayidodi. Bowe suyo. Sira pawe. Mi awe. Bowe. Queen awe suyo. Jepawe. Sawe ayidodi. Adoye ikebe. Si adeye. Suyo ayidodi. Suyo. Wagbe. Yosuala padegbe ye. Amu abi agono. Ode. Ochi.
Okay.
Ayidodi abonye o. Suyo ayidodi. So arege yo. Muso aspeku. Amajo. Ina shedi ye tenabo. Salige ya munya o. Pateli o nyoswa. Pateli wa bodu otunde o gbanyo. Na ati na yan di oju aye. Lori ayidodi abonye o. Lori abuye ayan gbaye de abuye agbaye.
All right, good evening, folks. Welcome to the show. I'm Francis Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Ayidodi abonye o. Suyo ayidodi. Suyo ayidodi abonye o. Suyo ayidodi. Suyo obiyo.
Ero shot.
Ega ize no broyo. Dede don bonge anyoswa. Ola abonye o. Abonye o. Ajayo dodi ayaja iba o. Mo ilo a. Moi, bien, pas tout, ouais, non. Moi, je dois dire que ouais, nah, mon père, ouais, mon père, ouais, mon père, il est en a. Yalwana, abonye o. Si abeyo, ayeja imu omu o. Abeje, ayeja imu omu o. Abeje, ayeja imu omu o. Ayeja imu o, ayeje ema o.
All right, very shortly we will get the program on the way. And I'm telling you,
Ayidori abonye o soyo ayidori abonye o soyo ayidori abonye o soyo.
Okay, very shortly we'll get this program. Wait, what a beautiful song here from the southeastern side of Liberia. Let us be friends, no hatred, no bitterness. And exactly that's Minister Rufus Gay there with a beautiful gospel song. Let's be friends, no hatred, no bitterness, no resentment. I am Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Very shortly, this program will get on the way. This is LPR-TV Live with the panelists. This is just doing a little bit of housekeeping here, and very shortly we will be right at your service. And I'm telling you, as usual, no matter what, we're going to have our program right here, and we will have the conversation as anticipated. Okay, I am Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. We want to welcome all of our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you for sharing your evening here with us. As usual, this is Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. The panelists will be here very shortly. Welcome to the show. Good evening. Welcome. I'm Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. Today is Tuesday. As usual, the panelists will be here. And they are here already. We say welcome. What a wet day is here in the East Coast. That was standing, rain, sun, whatever weather, it doesn't define, or we try to define what the weather is and what the situation. No matter what the situation. Well, a lot of news unfolding right here, and hopefully you're going to be part of the conversation here this evening, keeping it proportional, fair, balance. I know that the Spurs, everybody in the high gear, the fries, everybody want to get the fries. Well, but notwithstanding, things happened, and we are in an evolving society, and so we have to deal with it. Let me bring in Jonathan Dulaket. He's a senior contributor of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV, and strong supporter of the opposition's Alternative National Congress right here in the USA, based in the liberal state of Sacramento, California. Let me bring in Jonathan. Jonathan, good evening and welcome. I'm not hearing. Check your microphone.
Hello?
Okay, much better. I'm hearing you now.
Yeah, so I said good evening to you and it feels quite better out here today.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what that's the beauty of being in some sort of base state. Okay. Let me just come up front here to our many viewers and listeners. I know there was a bulletin issue yesterday, early this morning. Sometimes it takes time to work on these things, but also we do understand things happen. We are in a contemporary world, right? So literally like what 2 hours or so to the program. I did receive a text message. As a matter of fact, trust me, they were being very impressive. That I know because I have done a lot, put in time. To have this conversation. It was been taken in a different context. Never saying. I yeah, it would have been a fascinating conversation. But notwithstanding, things happen. So I did receive a text from one of the panelists, formerly of the Spoon Network. I Things happen, emergency happens, emergency take place, or whatever the situation. I don't know the details of that, but the text reads, due to emergency situations, they are convening a meeting. I do not know the nature of that meeting. That's not within my scope to ask what the meetings, and they are asked for cancellations and possibility rescheduled if need would be. But notwithstanding, we are still on an obligation. This day is one of our regular days, and we will still, no matter what, the conversation are going to be going. But to our many viewers and listeners, for you that glue or maybe saw that I noticed, we it is why it is, and we can't just there's nothing else we can do. When people who supposed to appear and say that they are calling for reschedule or cancellation due to unforeseen circumstances, my guess beyond their control, we must also respect that. And I think they have been having conversations on so many news outlets. We wish to have that piece of the pie, maybe in a different form, different context as well. And basically, part of that is not to put them on trial. They are not before the court. But our goal on this network, as we have been doing in the past, is to accord them the opportunity to provide a narrative from their end. But a lot is unfolding. We are hearing other developing news. We will hold up to those news, and we're still holding everything constant. Potentially, if they decide at their own volition, they are welcome. This is LPR. We don't roll a scale here. We ask real, authentic, genuine questions, and a little bit can answer because I put in time after they reach out and they wanted to have the story I told to the public. We have different groups always. There are so many news outlets, which of course is beautiful. That's the beauty of democracy. And so we thought of giving them the opportunity as well to hear their side of the story, to provide narrative. So it's not that they were coming here to appear before the grand jury for any possible indictment. That was not the case, but we intended to are going in depth with that. With that said, Jonathan is here. There are other news making headlines. We still have to talk about Liberia. 3 days to go to the presidential elections in Nigeria. Don't get panic. I'm not saying 3 days to the presidential election in Liberia. In Nigeria, Nigerians will be going to the poll while we have 230 days to go in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. Dr. Let me just bring you here. The main question, the main conversation was to talk to these panelists from our sister network, Spoon, who recently resigned. They are not here. It makes it very difficult. We are not going to convict people in their absence. Hopefully, they're going to be here. But I was seeing a lot being going on. They appear on different network. I'm quite sure you are news freak like myself. What have you gathered so far? What do you make of their argument, their case, their narrative, the story that needs to get out there? What is your own session?
Thank you. Am I clear?
Loud and clear. One
Thank
second. I'm hearing you. I'm just making an adjustment here. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I will hope and I will anticipate to wait for their appearance on this platform, like you said, to give them a fair, understanding of what what I've understood about their statements on different platforms. But in the interim, I would like to say that they have the right, I mean, to do whatever will best please their individual interests, what they see them fit. But I'm of the view that it, it shouldn't be reached at that level. That's my honest opinion. I
When you
can't
say
judge
that
them.
level, which level are you talking about?
One, I try to follow the the narrative of the entire episode, you know, breaking pieces from one media outlets to the next. And I've gathered that there have been a statement issue. And in my wisdom of communication, the statement or issue, maybe because of emergency or to better clarify what people did not understand that they think might have been in the public domain. That's one aspect. It was followed up with another talk show and another talk show. I think that was too much of a publicity. It demonstrates to my honest opinion that there is a deliberate intent.
To
What?
change the narrative?
I mean, that's my honest
If
opinion.
I say change the narrative now from then, let me welcome Sissy. Good evening and welcome. You mean from national politics? Is that what you're saying or what?
I think it has a motive. Because one, if you had done the press statement and going on one platform, I think it almost met the entire essence. If it will have to be repeated from platform to platform, then I think even VOA might be one of the best to anchor it so that the wider audience can hear it. But it's my honest assertion. I respect them. There are people that I respect, but I think that's my honest opinion towards it.
Okay, let's bring in our senior contributor, Scarlett Sissy Goya. Wait, are you in Liberia or are you going to contest for Lofa County?
Well, I'm thinking about running to
Aaron Gonglo taking you now from being LPR analyst to a senatorial post. Who are you going to contest again?
I'm trying to run to be superintendent of my Barclay.
Bagu,
You strong, Bagu. You Manwa.
My Barclay superintendent. We make our own play right inside Muscle.
This guy is a mess. Why wouldn't Man Bagley? Why you want to be superintendent for Kolahu or Vanyama City?
I want to be ready. Everybody got to pass through me to go to the other counties that mean something. You want to go to Nimba, you want to go to Lofa, you want to go to Grand Bassa. Everywhere I get a vote. Unless Bomi County, you want to go Bomi and Kemana, you go get 300 votes. But anything that matters, you got to go through me.
That means you're going to put your own checkpoint there, put your basket there, right?
A checkpoint right there. I collected people voter IDs right there.
Okay. Okay, Sissy, good evening. Thank you for being here as well, as usual. You know, that's the beauty of this network here. Nothing so much big, small, whatever size that we are unable to handle it, depending whatever the situation. And I know you guys saw that post. The gentleman should have been here, but things happened, you know. Sometimes you never know until you two are confronted with similar situations. Even though it takes time to do preparation, get yourself organized, because trust me, it will have been a very classic, different than ever. But whatever the situations, if they're still willing to avail themselves, we're going to have a situation. But notwithstanding the alert unfolding, we're going to go beyond the borderline, not just only Liberia. So we're keeping close eyes on our neighbors as well. I mean, our West African state, Nigeria. 3 days, man. Sooner or later, we're going to be talking about those. The countdown is on 3 days. We have 230 days to the presidential elections in Liberia as well. Are we on course? Seeing what we're seeing, what is unfolding all over the place in Liberia? Are we set and ready to go, you think?
I don't know. I think elections usually is really hard to have a a really good status check because a lot of things will go wrong. Things that will go wrong will go wrong. But I would be remiss if I didn't touch on the topic you guys started with. I want to be brutally honest. The Kobo Shafo, the people that broke the spoon and they're eating with their hand now. The Kobo Shafo.
Oh, Lord.
The Kobo 4 have a PR problem, an integrity issue, and an academic problem. For people who've been on a major platform, they don't even know how to channel their own messages. They've allowed other people to get under the skin to the point I've seen my brother George on one platform talking about, I'm famous. Anywhere I go, people recognize me. They will not recognize people like you. I was in somewhere, they feel they make it to me, say, oh, and you are on Spoon Show. It's gotten to that point. Buffoonery, pure buffoonery. And I'm not afraid to say it. They're mad at it. Come on the show, we can have the conversation. But the thing I don't understand about these guys is, and I would have loved for any of the platform they've been on to ask them, what was their relationship? Were they employees all the time, the 1 year and a half that they were receiving money from Stanton Witherspoon? Were they filing a W-2 with the federal government as employees? Or were they filing a 1099 as an independent contractor? Or were they receiving dividends from a corporation because they got some money? And so the IRS have to be checking to see how did they account for those money? Because if you tell people that the man was treating you like an employee, then later on you're not treating like an employee, and later on you had an understanding, you assumed there was going to be a partnership. What was the payment that you were getting when he was flying you around the places, when he was giving you hotel rooms? What were you claiming those under on your taxes in these United States? Were you an independent contractor with a 1099? Were you an employee with a W-2? Or were you a shareholder with a dividend and an earnings report? And then for people to become so, and I'm lacking the right word to use, but they become so lowly to the point where you are having a conversation with adults and you are trying to force somebody to be in solidarity with you. How do you force a grown woman, an educated woman, like Dr. Francine, to be in solidarity with you, and when she refuses, you lay her computer or husband? What kind of thing they put running there? No, man, let the people go wash their hand, eat with their hands. Say they don't want you with a spoon no more.
Is that how you're going to run Mangibi if you become superintendent?
I say,
Man Barkley.
I left Mangibi with a porcupine. The porcupine in Mangibi, I won't go there.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Actually, you went strictly into my playbook. I'm still going to reserve. They are still a lot there. They are not here. The call for to reschedule having emergency meeting according to the text, which is okay. Hopefully, if they choose to, they can come. We're here. Our microphone is never limited. We never sanction people. That's the beauty of the network. The only thing here is that we all try to ask genuine, honest, and authentic questions, just to also give whoever that is within the spotlight to give you a clarity of what is happening. So we're here. As long as we get that message, just how to reach out, we'll do the same. Janitor?
Yes. I mean, they are not here today. Like I said, it's my position. I think we have other conversation. I mean,
yeah, we're gonna divide the conversations, but just fair enough to let the audience know. And I already made that crystal clear that they are not here. So we now want to we talked about it in the past, but if they are sure that will provide a room for more questions. than the conversation.
But just to be clear, they show up on another network, and it's out there. It's in the public space, so I can make my analysis based on their utterances on that network.
Right? No, fair enough. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot being said. Intended this tonight conversation will have been shifted into a different sort of style. Exactly. And but I still want to hope is Janitor, go ahead. So what you have in your playbook? You got out the internal investigation now?
Which internal investigation?
Shots fired.
So say maybe he's not hearing me. Can you tell him?
Don't mind. I think it's selective hearing. Don't mind. He knows what I'm talking about. Y'all finish say the government bias the criminal investigation with your 70K. We get it. How about your internal investigation about the 70K? We got nothing here, G. Send making in the country. Y'all stay ANC car all the way to the border to escort the man by the country.
Internal investigation is security matter. But on a serious note, it's a legal matter that it's been hindered. Yeah, it's a legal matter.
Oh, you can't talk about A?
I ain't got findings on it.
So okay, yeah, but
I wanted to quickly talk about. I don't have findings on this, Sissy. I want to quickly talk about the 554 million budget that have been passed by the legislature. It is a very key issue. The pension and benefit scheme that have been reported to have suffered another setback again is very, very key. We have 100 and plus Painesville City Corporation workers who are believed to not have taken pay between 7 to 8 months. I mean, if we want our community to get clean, if we want our environment to be safe, those are critical issues that I've read through that I think I have some concern on. The budget has been passed by the House of Representatives. What is in it for us? How does it address our situation of not having a reoccurrence of the shortage of rice, petroleum product in our country, and making livelihood better for our people, addressing some of the issues the GAC have puffered with the issue of wage bill, where the president said admitted in a public gathering about 15,000 workers. How are we taking drastic steps as we're passing on financial instrument that will guide the country for the next 1 year? It's critical to me. So I just thought to throw it out.
I'm still trying to pick time to sort of peruse through that and I get a full insight. And I'll listen to one of the lawmakers. It appears there was no extensive conversation, but I don't know. Another thing that it sounds like a political tone to me, because usually when they are the bank of a river, where most of them seeking re-election, they know their job is at stake, then to turn to be a hardliner, to be very critical on things. Only one person, I really don't agree with his talking point in the sense that the context and how he expresses his issue, things and stuff like that, that is very consistent in his argument is Representative Yeke Koluba. In as much as sometimes it's kind of like the way he carry his own, but I begin to see a high level of frustration. And I don't think that's warranted to be the one to be arguing like that. And this speaks to the volume, what we've been talking about here, that these people, despite they are from different political backgrounds and different political spheres, they should be able to create a conversation where they can share notes. Yes, I'm a representative from Mosorado County, but see whether there can be some sort of agreement on a national front when it comes to the budget. It talks about a wide range of national issues. You will talk about education. You will talk about health. You will talk about national security, and all of that. Yeah, we have the president the other day that who doesn't know that people minimum wage, and he was asking, wait a minute, who are we? What sort of war society are we in? So it shows that there's a huge disconnect, and this is a problem for the rest of for ordinary Liberians. Those who are supposed to tell the story, if they are unable to tell their citizen exactly what is happening, it's scary. Here we are, those who even also want to come, we are not been able to have these conversations. So distraction has intruded into national political conversation, and we all blowing hair all year. Sissy.
Look, every time we have a conversation about budgets in Liberia, national budgets, it's frustrating because budgets are supposed to be moral documents. You fund your morality. If you think education is a moral issue, you fund it. If you think healthcare is a moral issue, you fund it. Your budget tells us your morality. It tells us, like in the words of the great Senator Kofa Takunje, it tells us your mission and your vision, your intention for the nation will be captured by the budget. The president and the coalition for democratic change ran on a platform. The PAPD is their brain trust, right? That is what they see as the way forward for Liberia. And so their budget ought to reflect what they lay out in the PAPD and in all of the campaign speeches and the campaign promises that the president and his group made during the last presidential elections. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, the senators also, when they run on platforms. They tell people what they're going to do for them. In a nutshell, you're telling people that when you win, you are going to ensure that those things you promise your communities, that those things are going to be funded. When you talk about healthcare, you're going to make sure that the Ministry of Health is fully funded and that community health teams and county health organizations are fully funded so that your people benefit. When you talk about providing road services, you're making sure that the Ministry of Public Works is fully funded and also ensuring that the money that is in there for the rural counties are also received and those roads or rehabilitations or whatever you promise are carried out. Here is where everything falls aside. When people go in Liberia to the budgeting process, they throw all of that away. They throw all of that away. And so when you see what happens, a budget is crafted by 3 people in the executive in most cases, because the president himself said he didn't know that people are losing money, their net wages. And then you have a few people in the Senate that rushes through. And then you have the majority of these, and I'm sorry to say this, but I'm going to say because I'm going to be in Liberia anytime soon. You have the majority of these people that have no business being in any serious organization, much less the Liberian Senate, that will come and complain, oh, the poor rush the thing through. You know what happens in states where the majority don't listen to the minority, like Texas, for example? The people, the legislator leave. They make sure they don't go to the setting so they don't provide quorum. If the Senate does not have quorum, they cannot pass the budget. So if you think you have not been given enough time to read the budget, then you don't go. You don't give them quorum.
Are they aware of all of those things?
But they show up and they provide quorum and then they whine. And I'm thinking, who's advising these people? So we can't just blame the executive. We can't just blame, in this case, George Weah alone. I mean, President Weah, let me be respectful, right? If the president sends a budget, the president sends the budget based on his vision, based on the PAPD, based on the morality as expressed in their document, in their mantra of the CDC. Now, the UP, the ALP, and everybody else that's in there, that have senators in there, now also have to look, okay, what is our morality? How can we make sure we come together and say, no, we're giving this, but we need
do they have one? I hate to interrupt. Do they have one?
Well, I think they do. I actually think they do, except they don't understand that it is their morality. Because when you run, all of them that run for office, they always promise stuff, right? They always promise things. I will get your scholarship. I will build according to my paper. I will dig a poo hole. But
Oh Lord, sis, please don't do this to us.
But I want to mess it though. I want to mess it. You forgot the word to say you did a people. So anyways, on a serious note, they all do have a political morality. They express that when they tell the people what they are going to deliver for them. The problem is a lot of them don't know how to effectuate that. They think that should come from their pocket. They don't understand that should be enshrined in national budget. When you tell people that you're going to provide health clinic for them in Batala, you're making sure that Batala health clinic is in the budget of the Ministry of Health. And you have an oversight responsibility to make sure that money is funneled down to Batala, that clinic is actually erected. That you're going to use your personal money to build it when you know you can't sustain it. And I think that's the problem. I think, look, there is a need to actually teach our legislature governance 101. Because in a lot of well-to-do countries, people take budgeting issues as serious issues. You debate it for weeks.
We see people stay in the stay-in section here up to 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock to make sure they come to a consensus. And just like you said, if they know, if do not, in fact, the argument of the president doing the who wants to be a president that will not or will endeavor to have his or her mission. Of course, the president have to push the budget. It's like for you. This is where this whole bipartisan, which of course is none of it. It has not been there, and I'm not sure even no matter who comes next, whether it will ever exist, because that's where they need to have this sort of a connection. You got to lobby, you got to fight for your people. That you are the direct representative of them. They elected you, whether they voted for you or against, you are the decision maker now. You have to stand out for them. Jonathan.
Yes.
If we are hearing this thing here, your guy, and you know when frustration is something, and this is the guy who is very consistent in doing his thing. I wouldn't be surprised. It's going to be a real fun one because he said when he will pull Kume hand up, you will pull Boyka hand, or the other people when they put a hand, you will bring their hand down because they are not doing the right thing. And he's saying it. And nobody is paying attention. To go ahead, let me bring in Dr. George Toto here as well. Good evening and welcome.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, gentlemen.
Yes. So,
before you come here, let me add a little bit later on it. This notion, we say president, executive, sisters just lay out here. If you know if it is not in your favor, if you don't have the number, and how would this even be? Because they don't even talk to one another. CDC people talk to only CDC. Liberty Party talk to Liberty Party. ANC and Unity Party like a cat and article. I don't know. Whatever going on here, we need to call for the real intervention. And he said we are in majority. Yeah, we are. And another thing that can make these people to get away before you are, here we see lawmakers, and I hate to do this sort of comparison, but I think we need to adopt this sort of system here. People, when something is put forward, they should. I don't know. They can't tell me that something that budget it was just shove. They shove it in here. They shove it down in your throat. They will read it way ahead of time. Some people here will take a decision. This is what's going to be my vote. I am not going to vote for this because X, Y, Z is lacking. There is nothing there for my constituents. Whatever, there were no extensive conversation. We don't see that. Very few people will come out and say this, and then time comes, they close the camera face. We don't know who, 7 or 8%, we don't know how their vote goes. How will the electors be able to grade these people based on it? Because everything is being left off camera.
Thank you, Mr. Su. To discuss this particular issue of political parties and leaders of political parties from the legislative arm be very serious-minded, committed to their constituent, taking into consideration the hiccups of their constituent and identifying it with the budget in order to stand for it. It is not something that it is ingrained in our Liberian politics. We'll go with the conversation. Everywhere want to pull the string. It will come and will rest again with the leader of the country. Everyone has his little pieces through the senators, the representative, but the level of power that have been concentrated in the presidency, to the extent to which the passage of the budget consistently, very consistently, have been proportional to the proposal, which have been an instrument from the president. On the flip side, that budget has suffered massive corruption with some of its major projects not being fully executed. And those who are in charge of evaluating the process, which is the legislature again, they fail on it again. So my thing here is that it drives me to the conclusion closely, because Yeka is fighting, for example. Other lawmakers will come out and talk. At the end of the day, the majority carry the day, and it goes ahead. So I'm of the conviction that one of our major problems have been the issue of the instrument that comes from the executive, already knowing the nature of our legislature, and then the execution part of it. That is
let me stop you right there. You said consistently, so there seems to be a history here being happening previous years. So what has been done to put that to a stop before I bring in like the total? If it's been happening and you're seeing it, what are they doing to remedy that? You see it happening and you go with the drum beat, and then we come back to say only the president shoving it down their throat or the executive. Of course, every executive, every administrator wants his or her agenda. Donald Trump will say, and sometimes you will see it here, sometimes on purpose, the Republican, depending who is in power, they say, we're not doing this. If you can't do this, we're not. Sometimes they cut deals.
For example, if I'm a legislator, I'm paid by the country. As I'm speaking, I'm on my own hustle. I ordinarily Liberian say Fakao. Now I come under the umbrella of the government. The newspaper that I read is paid for by the government. The person who is cooking for me is being paid by the government. My internet facility, everything is being handled by the government. I go into the legislature. I'm taking pay. You stop my pay without power budget. I'm power budget. And Nima County is owed $7.something million US, and no legitimate reason I've been given according to policy. Boss me, I can tell you, say, I'm not sunny, and I will stand by my word. I don't need 3 million. You might be to join me. Just for the fact that my conscience will know that I'm not sunny because the particular instrument has not been adequately explained, and it's a room for anyone to exploit without explanation that have happened in the past. So that would be my position. How to galvanize the number of persons with such a resilience to withstand something that they believe in and they know that it's their legitimate right. This is the reason why they are called as lawmakers. It'll become a difficult thing for our politics. And that is why changing the leadership at the top through a legitimate or general leadership is the first pace setter.
All right. Let me go to Pittsburgh here and bring in Dr. George Toto. Jonathan is doing what he good of doing. Now he's shopping this to the executive. He's not even looking at the inability of some of our lawmakers, how to navigate and how to get things done to cut dues. But everything now is the executive. So I'm wondering here, even if President Weah is out of office today, how can we change it? He deploy a warrior consistently. So something has been happening previously over and over. If something is happening over and over, if it is not right, what do? We try to fix it. We try to see, and that's what makes a human being. When you slip here, when you come in the next time, you want to watch out to see whether that floor is wet. You're not just going to speak all that. But let me just bring you in here. Is it fair to get all of these things down to the throat of the executive branch of government? The first branch of government, these are elected people. They are there to represent us. The president cannot fire them. The president cannot do anything. Are they doing enough to get their acts together as well? And sisters, just lay it out. If it is not in your favor, stay away from it.
Yeah. First of all, the problem, I saw how a little bit lean with janitor, but not 100%. You know,
let's define your percentage.
My percent.
Be careful. CDC gave percent is still hunting you. Be careful.
My percent is probably I'll probably put myself between 70 to 75%. You know, the problem with the executive and the legislatures, it's been an ongoing problem, not even for President William, for Eddie Johnson Senator. It has been a problem in the Senate and in the House. The way in which people conduct business in our house is beyond to human understanding. You have elected people who have the vision, like people like Darius DeLong. They have what all it takes to make a change when they go into that house. But when he went there, what happened? They were talking about the light. The light has been dimmed now. You know, so with the way
who dimmed the light?
Is the effect of the house. That's the same house we're talking about. The Senate.
Did he play his part properly as well to solidify his political argument?
They don't play his part, but he
Dylan came in, not to interrupt you. Dylan came in.
They don't have muscle. You know, so people go into that house, they don't go into that house on partisan idea or partisan ideology. They go in that house to seek their own interest at some time. So that's why people can say, okay, Unity Party have more or partisan in the house or opposition have more in the house. Why is that job we are building, keep going, sliding through? Because while they go there, they get tip from the secretary, or the secretary gave them say, okay, you have to get, before the bill go through, you gotta get send the allowance or send the benefits to the live slide through. So they are not ready or investigating the bill before you go to the secretary. So the secretary have the way to maneuver to play on them.
Is that what they're supposed to be doing? They shouldn't.
That's how it's supposed to be. In the real good democratic government, that everybody functioning, the judiciary functioning, doing her part, the secretary doing her part, the legislature doing their part. And that's supposed to function that way. But sadly, that's the system we have in Liberia. You see people have the energy, people campaign. But when they go into that house, it becomes a different game. You know, and that's what happening. So the executive knows how to maneuver their way to get that bill go through. You have a protest who is on the side of the executive. You have a speaker on the side of the executive. So they know how to maneuver their way to get their bill go through. The opposition also on the other side, instead of they try to fight the opposition fight, you won't see that. You get Nathan from the ANC, but yet you still have bill going through. You have Prince Moy from the Unity Party, which is the senator also too. You still have bill going through from the CDC-led government. So at the end of the day, George Weah know how to play his political game to get his bill go through, and he go and celebrate the outcome of it. I think it's a crash on our particular house.
Sissy.
Look, Newton's first law of nature, a lot of inertia. It says an item at rest, an item in motion, in a straight path, will remain at rest or will remain in motion unless, and here's the key, unless acted upon by an external force, a difference. Love them, hate them, whatever. I know it's not going to be popular. But in the most recent dispensation of the Liberian legislature, Abraham Darius Dillon and Sir Joseph have been two senators that have been that external force. However unconventional it is, But for DeLong, we won't be having all these hearings on Facebook. But for DeLong, we will not have been rejecting nominees and actually checking these people's credentials. So love him, hate him, or whatever, he has done some things to change the way that house works. For the likes of Sir Joseph, he's realized that the budget system is so messed up that he's not going to have money in the budget to take care of his county. So he's going outside of the budget, coming out to the United States, raising money on his own to take care of things that the government is supposed to take care of. Like the last time when I was beating him about his bosses. But to be very fair, he's solving the transportation issue, right? At least attempting to minimize the transportation issue. Yes, it is unconventional, I give you that, but he's at least trying to change something. There is no serious government in the world where the executive does not try to make sure that they muscle through all of their priorities in their budget. Even here in the United States, it happens.
It happens everywhere.
It happens. There is a reason somebody wants to be president. They have a vision. Unless you want to tell me, say, like Takunje, the mission, the vision, the intention for the nation is poor. But I don't think it's poor. I will keep quoting Jonathan Kofa over and over. Because your mission, your vision, your intention is in your budget. If you think our people need security, you fund the security sector. If you think our people need education, you prioritize education in your budget. If you think infant mortality is high, you prioritize healthcare and reproductive health in your budget. And so, for us to sit here and try to excuse the incompetence, the gross incompetence of our legislature, hiding it behind the fact that it's been happening before. So then like Joe, we are keep doing it because it's been happening before, anytime been happening before. Every president, when my guy wins, we're going to send a budget to the legislature that's also going to be based on our vision.
We'll be a little bit explicit here to other people. Don't
and the LPP, and we're going to make sure that we are cajoling the first branch of government to see things our way and vote for the budget. That is what responsible governments do. It is left to the purse holder, those who hold the purse, the nation's purse, the first branch of government. They have to say, no. Ministry of Public Works is saying they need $52 million. How much of that money is going to Salaye District? How much of that money is going towards repairing the road at Bondoe? How much of that? You have to ask those questions because you represent those places. In America, they call it pork. You have to have your own pork in there. Right? When you talk about the Ministry of Health getting this much money, you have to start asking how much of that is going to Phoebe Hospital. If you are a representative from Lofa County, how much is that going to Lofa County? Even people from Bapol will be asking how much is going to the current hospital in Lofa County and how much is going to the Bomi hospital in Bomi Hills, because that is how you check. And if you know that there are a lot of people dying en route to Bomi Hospital, the government hospital in Tomenboro, or to Phoebe Hospital, then you talk about building feeder clinics. How much money is in that budget to go towards building a feeder clinic in Total? Right? Those have to be the critical questions we ask. We can't always sit here and just blame the president. The president can send a budget. The budget can be drastically changed if we have people with spines and people who understood their function. Let's stop absolving these people of their incompetence, always blaming George Weah and the presidency. These people have work to do. And until and unless we start calling them out for their gross incompetence, they will continue to hide behind there, continue to blame the president. And even if Kewan Gonglo becomes president, or Alexander Cummings becomes president, or Ambassador Bwaka becomes president, or Mandela Cooper becomes president, whomever becomes president, the issue still remains that the president drafts the budget. It is left with the first branch of government to either accept that budget or make some changes. Force the president to veto your budget. Force the president to lie and veto your budget. Then you can tell the people we have bridge in there for Swakoko, but the president took it out. He lied and veto that. But they don't even do that.
And part of that, before I bring in Amos Joy, say how can they do that? When they are on whatever recess or whatever break, do they go for consultation? Do they know exactly what is going on in their various constituencies? Do they take a real tour to know what is lacking in Zwedru Hospital, to the other district? Do they go
Do they have local offices in those places? That is the biggest question.
Exactly.
Because we should be having local offices in those places.
Not at all.
So that the people don't have to come to Monrovia to have their voices heard. They can go to.
I have one of my lawmakers here from my county who lie here broad day and we want to go check. Nothing, not even a Zing house, not even a Zing shop. But yeah, you said you proxy, you are there. So I think we have reached a Waterloo that we need to change and shift this narrative. Yes, the executive.
So real quick, and then I land. One glaring evidence was today when I saw on one of the networks the Senate Public Works Committee.
Yeah.
Walking on that road in RIA. None of those people that were walking over there are engineers or that have the requisite qualification to look at something and say, oh, that does not belong over there. What they went there for photo ops. This is when you have researchers. This is when, as your legislature, you have people who, yeah, my brother, Jonathan, that's where you get people who are expert in those fields, or you go out to the private sector, get these engineers to come and advise you. Man, the money you're making, pay somebody $1,000 to come and advise you on why that road is not supposed to be the way it is. And so you're going to walk there in mud and come back, and people take pictures and take videos.
They don't have no expert opinion.
You ever see our men and other people there? They don't hire. They don't have an advisor. They don't have no consultant because they all want to be like a cockroach to lead everything here. Let me bring in Amos Joy from the far right, Atlanta, Georgia. Amos, you were saying here, Sissy, I mean, you literally got him when he was kind of like quiet down. All he's been doing is slamming ANC, but he is saying his guy, when Tiawan Gonglo is elected, all of these things here. What's this guy name? What a guy, not yet. What a guy name? What is senator name? What a guy name you call just now? The ANC former.
Sir Joseph?
Oh, my sister. How will you call Sir Joseph?
But the name here, coming
right? Yeah, ANC Senate. He is senator for ANC, former chairman, right? He was just
Senator Martin?
Yeah.
You see the chairman, right?
Yeah.
See the chairman of ANC.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just trying to bring you up to speed because they will not do that. And I just want to have a fair conversation here.
But I have senators there.
I got this for you. I got for you. I've been monitoring the conversation. So you can't say we're bashing. That's all you're going to we ain't going that route. So I will monitor you. Okay.
Really?
I heard everything Cecil have been saying, and he has been on point. He didn't go after ANC. If he did, okay, but
I see why you in the Liberal.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Why you in the Liberal not friend it?
Look, let me say this. At the total, you were wrong to say Dylan go after Dylan. Has he done 100%? No, he hasn't. I mean, I said that you over Dylan. Yeah, you went after Dylan. I've mentioned the program. You said Dylan was a light to be shine, but now you don't have to him. And Dylan, take it or leave it, but he had done some things in the house.
No, don't get me wrong.
He had brought some changes. You or him, do you have some shortcomings? Yes.
But I say Dylan have a muscle, but those guys in the Senate. That's why you see.
Don't let him change you, Papa. That's why he said. He was saying, okay, don't let him change you.
Oh, I said, Dylan have a muscle.
No, I follow you. So let me say this. Yeah. Well, okay, Dylan being muscle, but whether Dylan being muscle, I can tell you, he had done something in the Senate. So he or him, there's some shortcoming. Yes, we can go. If he fall, we can tell you, hey, this is what happened. The same thing you're talking. Dylan Duda was on a program talking about itemizing the budget line. You say you want $1 million for armchairs. How many schools going to get the armchairs? Which county going to get SYZ? There's nothing to just say $1 million for armchair, for example. He spoke about that and he voted against it. But we should also remember that CDC is the government. They put their budget forward, they will push it. And the opposition are not enough. You can speak. It will come down to what numbers.
Opposition now what?
Opposition
what I mean,
No, I was denying now. I was denying now.
hold on, Jonathan, hold on.
Two ANC people coming to plan.
Hey, hold on.
Opposition is not in our house. We can count it. Let's call their
The
new
opposition are the opposition are in majority. Like all of them,
two people then.
yeah, like all of them have crossed carpet to CDC. Only few.
But I say
So don't tell me say the opposition. No, Jonathan, you hold on because you wanted to go different route. Let me clarify it. The opposition, the numbers are there. They are in majority, but they all vote CDC.
Why is it
Vanish opposition.
Mr. So just one day, Papa, and let him lose. You did it, Mr. So.
Morris Satama, the opposition man.
Your way.
Yes.
No party.
The opposition. Opposition.
Morris Satama for Unity Party.
Well, I was a party.
Hold on, no, don't go there. Don't go there.
4 years with their party. 4 years with their party.
But what? Mr. So protection. Let me talk.
They're your man. I don't come for. Come on, don't come.
Why they coming after me? Just let me land. Then you'll come.
Okay, all right. Let's restore stability here. See, okay, Pa George, go ahead.
The opposition, they are majority on paper, but voting is a different ballgame. They go.
Is that excuse? Is he excuse?
No, that's not excuse. That's not excuse.
What do you want to talk about?
Corruption.
That's a reality.
Corruption. People who don't have no character.
So that be the opposition corrupt. That be the opposition is corrupt.
So that just let me learn. I mean, you were talking, I didn't say anything. Why can't let me learn? So the issue here, all these guys, they will go when there's issue on the floor. By the time they say, hey, who are you voting for? Oh, we'll vote for the budget. Because they know they're going to get a kickback. That is the bottom line. Yega Koba in the horse, he's the only person that you can see vocal, outspoken. Darrell Dillon, Bocha, they can say something, they can say they vote. But these are the only person you see them talk. The other people they will talk about by the time to vote, they all go. My own senator, Prince Moyo, from Bonkande, that they talk about. You see that? They all vote the budget. When they know that Prince Moyo was asking the Minister of Public Works, he named, I think, 3 or 4 roles that the UN sponsor. You say the UN. That they have period that will maintain those roles. But in the public budget, the money is there that they are hiring organizations to work in those areas. Now, if Senator Moyo, you see no kind of thing, why would you want to vote for such a budget? Why would you want to vote for that kind of budget? In the public budget, that they servicing those roles. But whereby you say and UN, they have a time that when they construct the road, they maintain the road for that time. But at the same time, the Minister of Public Works is putting money there, seeing that they're giving contract to community organization to work in the area. So, Senator Moyo, why will you vote for 52 million now for public works? Why? Those are things.
Why you think he's doing that? Quickly, before I go to, why you think he's doing that?
You get picking for Primo because he let Primo.
Because why? They know they will get kickback. It's about kickback. They will get something. So this issue, my own representative, Menko, told in a hearing, police director. I remember, I think I'm co-chairman or chair of the committee on finance, ways and means. If you have an issue and you don't talk to me, what you want me to do? So if the police director go in a hearing in a house and explain to you that these are things they like, but he said the member come to see you personally for what? So you can see that it is a cycle of corruption.
Let's spin it here. It is a national issue. for me, and all of us here, we want to prevent crisis. We are not good at managing crisis. So the issue of creating crisis in the first place is just insane when we can't manage it. We at a crossroad. We are reaching a point where major decisions will be made. The media has a very big interject into this national conversation. What do we need to do? How do we have the ability? Media personnel, media practitioners, gurus, they are all compromised. They are all politically oriented with some sort of political party pushing their own agenda. That itself is another issue in terms of discussing this real issue, not necessarily telling people go this way here, but you open the conversation, allow them, give them the ability to make an informed decision. That is not on us. Our job is to tell them the fact, not to add, not to subtract, not to add anything because it might pivot in the directions of a particular group of people. Do we have that capacity? Are we willing also to take this bull by the horn? Folks in the media industry, no matter who you are, talk show, it's a challenge because there are people that are propagating specific political parties' agenda as well. So Liberians are in a sort of a confused and disoriented mind in terms of where to go to get the information process and which one they're going to prioritize. Because when you come to LPR, you listen to something different. You go to FOL, you listen to something different. You go to TIE, other outlet, you listen to something different. That puts them in a confused mind. How can we address this issue? Because the politicians not going to come clean to come forward with this issue here. Sissy, I see you laughing. By feature superintendent for Man Barkley.
Yeah, now you get it right. Vote for me, I will be the boo-boo. Okay, that's my campaign slogan. But on a serious note, I think the larger question is ability. Do we have the ability? Absolutely. Do we have the capacity? I don't think so. Because for the reasons you stated, Mr. So, that a lot of these platforms have shown or have been accused of being of being partisan. And let's get this straight. We all can have our partisan lenses. But if you keep a secret, then it creates a problem. Because most people on this platform, when they hear me speak, they know I support Tiawa Gongo. So that gives them an angle through which to see things that I say, which should be the right thing to do. Other than that, I will come here pretending I'm something else, and people are consuming my messages without understanding the side effect. And I think telling people ahead of time what the side effects are that I support Tiawa Gongo helps them make an informed decision on how they analyze the things I say here. So do we have the ability across the various platforms, across the various media in Liberia? Well, yeah, we do. Do we have the capacity and the appetite to really do the work and really hold people accountable? And knowing that you and I can be friends, that I support you, but that if you did something wrong, I'll come on the platform and lay out for Liberian people to have their say. See, that is where we have the problem. And that is where, when every time we want to talk about the governance structure in Liberia, we want to talk about the executive nation, it bothers me. Because there is a lot of people that are supposed to take blames for the breakdown on the way things work. The fourth estate is one of those. When you have people that just run with any news information or refuse to talk about some news information because it can be spin in a certain way, it becomes a problem. It becomes a huge problem. You lose credibility. And there are people like, for example, right now that are watching us in Banga City, Bon County. Imagine somebody is up this late in the night having paid for their data to listen to us. And then you come here and you say to people, pa, pa, pa. That is a disrespect. That is stealing. You should go to jail for that. We do that on the platform. Seriously. On any platform, people spend their money that way. You should go to jail for that.
Oh my God.
I'm real, because you robbing the people. You know
like
how much
I was doing Sherry.
to can't listen to Tabata?
Who will make you Sherry?
You see, the former police.
Sherry.
In the case of
share it.
Ezekiel now, who was tweeting watching from Banga. And I think this is a very serious problem. It is a serious problem. The media industry as well is not being, I don't know how many of us or how many of them also know their responsibility. You're not for the government, you're not against, you just in the gap to pass on information. Simple as it is. Jonathan. Okay, after Jonathan, then Dr. Toto, you come in.
I mean, to have the situation of our country, and it is clear, it has been repeated over and over. The mistakes are just endless. The suggested solutions are also splendid. The implementation aspect has always been the focus. And to have a stronger society, you need to have an independent legislature that can scrutinize issues of the country. Very independent. Like I said, I can sign to this thing, and I can sign to it because it is right. I cannot sign to it because it is not right. You need to have a stronger labor union. I'm coming to the media aspect, and a stronger court system. Then the media aspect, look, it's a huge compilation issue that you're talking about. Your budget, your domestic debt, like they were talking about recently, if you check in that domestic debt, you know how much they owe the media, I think? Am I? Media not already got money. They are not surviving. Then you try to strangulate it as a government owing a huge sum of money, already understanding that many of them, they are not genuine, or some of them might not be genuine. They are owned by politicians, and there's an honor to them. So it's a huge situation that we find ourselves with, and we want to discuss it. Like Sister said, we need to discuss it in a manner and form that when I'm from ANC, I announce that I'm from ANC. Hey, you can't kill me for that. But how do I see other issue of national concern just apart from ANC? Passing a budget and having no budget performance consistently over a period of time, does it impress me on behalf of my ANC lawmakers? No. CPP lawmakers and other opposition lawmakers receiving 30,000 when that could be a point that it could hold the government accountable to. Is this something that make me happy?
Accountable there when they themselves are direct recipient of it.
There where I come from the background that it is the point of rally that I agree with
People
Mr.
from your
Cummings.
party did receive.
I come in. That's why I agree with Mr. Cummings that he dreamed to become president. It would be a challenge if you were to start from being a senator, because we've already seen the example of senators. We've already seen the example of representatives. Without disparaging any of them, we are seeing them as a wholesome, as a bucket, consistently year in, year out. And we are where we are. And they should be giving us instruments that will lead to national development. He is saying that if I sit as a president, my motive and my dream, people now, propose, I think I want to get also, and I want to propose here, other people where they were slinger, and when goes to a slinger, because people feel that they want to go after the example of the leader. So if the leader got better example that can drive the economy, example that can bring investment, example that can protect pension scheme, that would not be thrown under the bus. I mean, chief of office star of lawmaker, for example, just got new car last year. It was last year that we talking about chief of office star. Since Joseph Jingi was out there, it was last year that we talking about chief of office star having brand new car for them to ride, to go to work, for work, to go and campaign for the lawmakers, their own chief of office star. So you should imagine, and each chief of office star is equivalent to an assistant minister. So all the years along, they have not been recognized. So even think of it. So how do they even tap into the resource ability of this individual? So it is not about whether the lawmaker office is running in a order that it is meant to be. If it was so, we will know from the performance report of the executive. Everything goes through. Everything goes through. You get 1 million for armchair. What is the armchair? What are the schools they are going to? For which the lawmakers now can go identify the schools and see to it that yes, the armchairs were brought here. They are not made available. So it's just frustrating, and that is why we need to take this time among the opposition leader that I feel comfortable with for you to select any of the three, but I prefer Mr. Ellis Cummings, and I was campaigning for Mr. Ellis Cummings because I believe that they will be able to set the tone. Our brother Sir Joseph, yeah, he said that East International went to where? Which are the company? We know the company name. That's what we're talking about. You take people, you carry them to go take picture. They carry engineer. That thing make practical sense as to how you can achieve it.
So let me ask a question before.
You build sport park out of country resources. Then you build a church. Say, I don't want to build a sport park. So everything I do in that legislature, I done to protect the lawmaker, protect the executive, protect the lawmaker, protect the executive. Finish. The Liberian poor are left in limbo.
So there are three branches of government, right? Before Dr. Toto comes and your argument, probably I'm off track here this evening. It seems to me, making the point in your conclusion, Ellis Cummings probably is one of the reasons Ellis Cummings is not seeking to be a senator from Maryland or whatever county here. Are you saying it is only the executive branch of government will make government works to make government function? When you have the first branch also have a separate power, should even hold the executive branch accountable. If you think even if Cummings were to become a president today, and we have a dysfunctional first branch of government, do you think his agenda going to go through?
Cummings' agenda will go through 100%. I know the legislature, I know the group of people. When they see serious minor person, just as when Liberia enter JFK, as soon as you enter JFK, you can put a say order. When you see serious minor person moving, you have to put a say order. And that is why I believe Mr. Cummings can do it. We are talking 175 years. 175 years. And you telling me that one lawmaker will step on that floor and change the issue of that floor? It's not realistic. I believe someone can build up the courage, but I don't think they will get the admiration of the people in there to make sure that that change comes to reality. I
wish you could experiment this. Say, I beg you, hold on. After Dr. Toto, you're going to come in. Dr. Toto.
Yeah. Let me get back. Let me first get back to the question before I get what Senator Tabata is talking about and the Senate coming. Look,
oh my goodness.
Wake up to the member of the fourth estate in Liberia. I think for me the problem in Liberia is lack of training. Now, most of the fourth estates media bureau don't really have in Liberia, but and then some of them don't really have that ethical training, people that really go to school to be trained in the media era. So even the press conferences are being here.
Okay, go ahead. Lauren asking for the WhatsApp number. Yeah, let me just put it there so we can get our people. Lauren, sorry, let me put it. We got carried away. We should be doing this every day. I don't know why. Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Toto.
So when it comes to the media already for scrutinizing the government, even opposition leader, they are kind of very weak in terms of training. I think the lack of training is one of the major problems they face in that country, where they're having a sort of press conference when I think the vice president for World Bank visited Liberia a few days ago, and then they were having a press conference with him, and the type of questions that were asked, that were posed to the vice president of World Bank. If you listen to that press conference, you think what type of journalists are these people here? What type of training they have, in terms of asking critical questions. But that's the country found was saying a lot of training is available. Now the janitor, janitor can sugarcoat what you want to sugarcoat about the Zeta coming. But the problem is Zeta coming cannot be a senator because he knows the problem. He and Luke cannot change the narrative from Joseph Jean Rawata to president. If he becomes president now, then he will be able to navigate his way through the same era that having difficulty, or is he going to go to bribe the legislature also to pass a bill that the current leadership doing also too? Is that a trend going to take? Because you have a bunch of people that go into the House, whether they are, we don't know whether they are political party, their ideology, or there's another own party chairmen in the House. You have Unity Party have more, or they have more partisans that in the Senate and in the House. And yeah, when it comes to the budgeting aspect, the president built everything slide through without no critical investigation. Look at the America here. You talk about a horse, or you talk about a Republican House right now. You think if a Joe Biden bill go through, I'm here. His bill will go through, but that fight will go on. At the end of the day, there will be some progress or somehow where Obama was president also too, how he fought or Republican Senate for his bill to go through. That's the type of legislature we need.
Recently, Dr. Toto, the president, he was forced in as much. He never wanted to talk to Mitch McConnell. What happened? He was invited to have a dinner or whatever breakfast.
Well, where in Liberia, George, we have just said his bill, if that go through, oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. What are the opposition now? When they come out now, they want to fool the Liberian people to say they are opposition. So if the Zara Comey cannot get it done in the Senate, is he going to make it a way through? Would that be the same bravery too? Now, when it comes to the budgeting aspect to Liberia, the legislature, I don't know if they can go and meet in the Liberia representative, whether they can have a budget year themselves to invite their citizens and say, okay, their budget will be, we want to send a recommendation to the national budget today. We want to hear your support. Where you get to send the budget. I don't say the type of thing every take place. Or in Liberia, the executive judge do the budget. Simon Tue had a team of experts, financial experts, CPA, or whosoever controller, come together, join the budget, send it to George, we are the local aid, they send it to the House and the Senate, to the local aid, to pass it to the budget, really smooth on that. At the end of the day, you look at agricultural budget, decrease about 5%. You see rural budget decreased by 2%. So there's no critical analysis placed in the budget. So not only there at the Zana Committee, any president that took over, even our own network government, if you got president tomorrow, to navigate his way through that or Senate or House of Representatives, that's an easy process because we already know them.
Okay, Sister, then I'll go to
Bob.
I think that Barbara coming from you. You say you know how the system works. You were there before passing brown envelopes around.
No, so I meant that when
you said you know how it works. You know how you'll get it through. You said you know get it through. You know how things be getting through what before that through brown envelopes. So we are going forward today. Jonathan is the brown envelope man for the ANC presidency. Now, you don't want to be able to brown envelope in your car.
You said the bribes are waiting. You say you know how to do
it. Jonathan be the chief bribber, the bribber in chief for the ANC. But having said that,
no, yes, that way 1 minute you can play the politics.
You feel get your position.
I come in and what I believe in is that that's my politics. I believe LS Cummings, Siawan Goglo, or Buakai with their serious mindedness. Though I'm LS Cummings man, when they get there, the legislature aspect going to change.
It's trying to be more conciliatory now.
No, I said it before. Go to the recording. I said it before. And I'm not saying that because I want to concede. I'm saying that because at least I know that they got some level example of life. And that way I emphasize LS Cummings and LS Cummings, and that why you guys swallow.
We will search your car every day, Monrovia. We see brown envelope in there, we know the way you doing it.
Oh, God.
But on a serious note, look, Cummings is a very serious politician, but sadly, my brother Jonathan, you have to refund that brother in Banga some money for the tabata you talk here. I think the way you try to sell Cummings sometimes, you take votes away from him. You're talking about using the second branch of government to fix the first branch. How is he going to be able to do that? How do you do that? Those are two separate branches of government. So if Cummings is able to change the first branch of government, how come we're not seeing that in the actions of the current ANC legislators? How come they ain't drink the Cummings Kool-Aid yet? So they can preach the Cummings doctrine right now. Because when Cummings become president, those are the people you'll be depending on to change the legislature. How come they're not doing it right now? How come the like of your party chairman, who is a senator, is not doing anything right
That's
now?
why Cummings condemned them when they took the
Well,
10,000.
it's not just
That's
enough.
why he was
He's
the
still a
only person
partisan.
that condemned him. That's
He's
why he was
still
the only person.
My man, the man still a
Cummings
party chairman. The man
The
still a
Cummings
party
is
chairman.
condemned.
back.
So
Okay,
you
let me
let
ask
them
you.
out?
Let me
So
hold
you
on one
let them
second.
out?
My man, the man still a party chairman.
It was a legislative instrument. It was law. We just say it was a bylaw. So you let them out because you
Don't I care?
chairman?
Don't I care, my brother? Don't I care?
You go
Don't I
to
care?
convention?
I'm
You
just-
go to convention for that?
Don't I care? Don't I care? Listen to me.
Is he still your party chairman?
Eh?
Is he still your party chairman?
He didn't commit any crime.
I'm
No,
asking
he answered the question.
Is he still your party chairman?
He's my party chairman.
Okay. So now back to the issue that I was trying to lay out here.
But what I try to tell you is that
But now let me finish.
Alice
I mean, you want to
Cummings-
give me brown envelope too, ba?
Alex Cummings is the only political leader that condemned his own lawmakers for accepting 30,000 that he felt that would have gone other areas. No
Okay.
political leader.
Okay.
So spoil a political leader.
Hold on now, Jonathan. When did he do that? Was it when it became fashionable? When Delon started talking against it before he did that, or did he do it before Delon started talking against it?
He did it even before
He did it
Delon.
before
Delon got
Delon.
angry.
That's
Delon
not true.
got angry.
Delon was running for office. Delon spoke against that. Cummings knew it, man, were getting that money. He didn't say nothing about it.
Delon was senator. Delon was senator.
We can still love these people and still call out their flaws.
Delon
We're
was
not
a
selling Jesus
senator.
Christ to the people.
Alex
We can
Cummings
still
was
love
the
these
first
people.
person on the record.
What I do remember, he took time before the Nyetin business issue was addressed, though. It took a little time.
It did. It took a long time.
And
It
that's
took a very
the
long
problem.
time.
And that's
Be
the
fair to the
problem.
people, man.
He needs to make his point. That's the problem with our Liberian politicians. They
But
don't.
sister,
They are
why
not-
you not coming? That won't
Your
play.
political leader not condemned no
Yes,
lawmaker
yes,
before.
We don't have a lawmaker. We get lawmaker.
It's a power. It's a
We get
power.
lawmaker. We get
guys.
lawmaker.
Hello. Let's make things in order here.
Yeah. We get gold. We get to go flower. We get lawmakers. Don't blame us. But the point I'm making here, Dolake is trying to sell the idea as if this is some merger and acquisition, stuff where Coca-Cola is buying, Smart Water, Minute Maid, Dasani, and you can just change stuff. That's not how it works in governance. And you, of all people, know that you served in the first branch of government.
So you gone to jail? We are playing Pokemon.
Can he
Merger
let
and acquisition, what your man do?
Gentlemen, hold on, guys. Let's do it one at a time.
What about him about that? The man was a corporate executive. Merger and acquisition is a fair game. Coca-Cola bought Minute Maid. They talk about Minute Maid and change it. You can downsize, you can fire people, you can do everything. They talk about vitamin water, Smart Water from Jennifer Aniston, and they changed it. That is cooperation. That's good. You can't do that in government. And again, I keep saying, Cummings is a very smart man, but the people who are selling him sometimes try to sell him like he's Jesus Christ to us, and that's where the problem happens. Because if the Kool-Aid that Cummings got to give to the whole nation, the recipe he got that would change the whole nation, he didn't give it to his own party chairman here to drink it, to change the first branch of government, we got a problem.
Okay. Now,
what's the number? What you say it's not going
so say you bash. You're bashing. But Tianwo gonna go sit down there. Someone talk about ordering the government in his party. He had not said a word.
Oh boy.
Tianwo gonna go. The man you talking about support. Hold on, get it down. Hold on now. Hold on. A woman wrote a statement urging the military to overthrow the government. A democratic elected government.
Lawrence, the number is working, but say your number if you want to call, I can call you, but the number is working. I don't know
your
why.
Your council that you support, you and Dr. Toto had never said a word about that.
Yeah, but they spoke against that.
Please
Cesar
let him
spoke
finish.
about
Let
a
me
party
disabuse
never
the old man
spoke.
because this is the ANC
Hold
way
on
of
now.
arguing. Please let
Hold
him
on now.
finish. Let me
Challenge the
disabuse you of
party
that
and the
mindset.
political leader.
Cesar,
On
I'm not
record.
listen. Cesar spoke about it. He said it was not
No,
right.
don't backtrack. Keep going the way you're going.
Hold on, but I'm going. You're not, yo, Cesar, you're not going to tell me. I'm not backtracking. I'm saying that your chairman, the man you support, had never spoken about that, had never taken a decision against someone in his party who urged the AFF to overthrow a certain government. I'm not saying, Cesar, you didn't talk about it. You frown on it. That the total frown on it. But the man whom you support never said a word today about that.
Officially complain to Tiawan.
So, what do I say about Tiawan Gonglo? Yeah, people are around, they say horrible thing, and he doesn't say anything. But he's the guy, he has the broom to sweep Liberia. But he can't sweep the door, the step.
You have to what?
He can't sweep in from the door, the step that he passed, he can't sweep it. Then how do what do the Liberian people should do?
And she's a major player.
And it's not coming, yes, he frowned on his people, whatever was late, but he did frown on them. But Chairman Tewan Gongo had never said a word to that lady who urged the AFF to take over the government. Executive of his party. Is that how we're going to run Liberia? Then, of course, I have a problem with his decision making. Because these are things that define people. When something happens in your inner circle, as a leader, what is your stand? So for people to come here and bash it, it's not coming here, it is their right. But I'm just throwing this question out there. What's about this leader that will look up to tomorrow, he can become president at any time? Is that how the country going to be run? In my inner circle, you say something, then I leave you. When the other people out there, then I go after them.
I thought if you asking a question, you want to wait for me to get your answer?
That's it.
Well, you will get answer.
So let me say this. Let me say this.
Okay, yeah.
You see, the last time I recognized a virus and I called it ANC-nism, right? Is that thing where when you don't put a mask on your face, you get it when you sneeze it.
Yeah.
And the ANC-nism, one of the symptoms is that the minute you mention the name Cummings, they lose their hearing.
Hold on 1 second.
They lose their hearing and they lose their understanding. I made a point to Jonathan. I said, we are not selling Jesus Christ. We have to be able to call out our political leaders when they err. And I said, he hasn't done it. He's selling Cummings like a Jesus. That's the point I made. And so when I go back
no.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Please, listen to me.
So when I was also
Senator, can you go, please?
I was every time you talk. I know the virus affecting you. Now let's see no more, but I will finish. So here is the point.
I don't know condemn. I didn't condemn.
You see, when I listen, you see,
the
man for CDC, he lose all of the trade of the CDC.
Yeah, man.
You see, it's the birds. You know, the birds came from dinosaurs. They say I'm not lost.
People are listening.
So let me say my point real quick. The point I was making to you was that you cannot talk about Cummings doing that when you didn't call him out for doing it late. You said, oh, he did it before, what's his name? Delon said that's not facts. He did it after Delon talked about it. You can own up to that. I on this platform took Tewan Gonglo to task for that issue. That is what we're asking you to do, to hold your leader accountable when he made a mistake. Jonathan, that is the point I'm making. Not that Tewan is a saint. I say I'm not selling Jesus Christ. When Tewan make a mistake, we will call it out, which I have done on this platform several times. But when are you ever going to have the spine to do that? You're done.
Well, I have this.
Okay.
What has happened?
Hold on 1 second. Let's go to our caller on the line here.
What has happened? I need me to condemn it.
Yeah, Jonathan, hold on 1 second. Guys, I think it's a national conversation. And I know sometimes it's tense, but we must also bear in mind people that are watching, tweeting, making comments, they want to get a takeaway. So if we can just get it. Okay, caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Terry calling from Minnesota.
Okay, let's hear you.
Yeah,
Lawrence, the line is open. I don't know why you're not getting through. Yeah, go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, actually, with this Taiwan Gonglo thing, Taiwan Gonglo is way down when it comes to the, you know, the political race now. Taiwan is not even coming fourth place, maybe. All right. So I don't really want to dignify Taiwan Gonglo because I think he started late.
Hold on.
All
What
right.
is the
But
data?
Mr. Cummings is very, very much backward. He have dropped
Okay.
form, his momentum, everything have dropped. And since the saga with this Louis Brown thing, we have not heard him. We have gone completely in solo. So I think he's losing his political strength, and I think that is where they should be focused on the most because he has dropped form politically. He's not having that momentum that he once had from the initial stages of the entire process. But quickly to those guys who came on, I don't know if you guys were talking about them or Ben Sanvi and the other guys.
No, well,
In my
we just kind of dance around it. They call for rescheduled because of other development news. So we really didn't couldn't do anything that much in their absence. But I mean, listen to them if you want to say something. Just go ahead quickly.
Yeah, well, I think they have the right to air off the differences, but the problem that many will ask is that why now? Are they coming up now when they found out that the man is, under this kind of condition? So obviously, people will look at it from that perspective. But all in all, they know the shoes they were wearing. So Liberians got to understand that these guys were in the system. They know what they were experiencing. So we just got to watch them and see why it play out. But at the end of the day, we all know that this is the political season. One way or the other, you cannot negate the fact that the government in power now, hence, is behind these guys breaking away from the spoon talk.
Come on.
Because this is a political season. That is my
No, but no, we gotta be.
I know one party the main who responsible that Unity Party with the man. There were other officers.
So on what are you basing on that the government?
Okay, let me quickly tell you how I derive my analysis. Right, you see, Kev Hassan is already a government figure. He supports the government. Everybody know that. Ben Sanvi was just with President Weah. We saw pictures. He did not deny it. All right. Tomalin is saying that he's in between. He's still with CDC. So you found out that these three guys broke away. Dr. Peabody does not even talk much. What does Dr. Peabody brings to the table actually to offer much politically? He don't have anything. So he swayed with the majority, and because they want him. And they tried to win Dr. Richardson, and Dr. Richardson was stubborn because apparently she know politically where they were driving. So it just you can just, from my analysis, these guys have been bought. They have been bought politically. This is the political season. This is when everybody's rule is defined. This is where you will see this is where the hidden alligator will show a head because the prey is before it. This is the election, Anybody that is hiding their support is going to come out, and you got to do it within a period of time. All right. And we're going to see them when they open the platform, you're going to see the trend.
Yes, Terry, the taboo of this network, panelists, angle, callers, everybody should be held accountable of their saying.
I think
so. From what I'm hearing from you, and I respect your views, your opinions, which of course we don't sanction views and opinion, but from what I'm hearing from you, are you saying they are departing to Living Spoon Network? Was initiated is the work of the government? Is that what you're saying?
I want to stand to say that. I want to believe that this was properly orchestrated for them to either take over the network or break away and form a new network that will put forth the agenda of the government, because this is the political season and they have to show forth a side. These guys are not journalists. These guys are all politicians. They know exactly what they want and they're going to go for it. Wow. And I think that the government hand is in it big time.
Wow. This is quite interesting. Your argument, your talking point here speaks to the point of one of the networks somewhere listening say, oh yeah, that's Samuel 2 work. That's Samuel. Come on. This is something that's not a Liberian's investigation ongoing.
But
It's a
Mr. So quickly, right? If you were president, we are right now, and Spoon Talk is the biggest network right now on social media, and you want to win elections, what will you do?
I would buy the Spoon Network. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just asking, from your perspective now, Spoon Network have pulled a large numbers over the period of time, which cannot be denied. All right. Today, because of the panelists breaking away, is the discussion have taken over the entire media. Liberians are not discussing anything but Stanton Spoon, Stanton Water Spoon.
There is a reason. There is a greater portion for the social conversations. It needs to be discussed because we even sit here. If any of us screw up here, that would be a talking point. The reason is simple because we sit down here, we talk, we question the credibility of the people, and we profess to be, we are doing it. And media is very powerful. We know the persuasion and the potential influence that Spoon Network were being. If buying all of those media network, that is a danger in that people will know. But let me take this call here quickly, and then 832 number. Are you there? 1441.
Yeah, Mr. So, how you doing?
Good
and hi to your panelists. I think, Mr. So, I just called the gentleman. I was on the phone before I called. You're not supposed to interrogate for that long because first I think he's punishing your reputation or your show because you can't get people coming with lies or accuse people for something. My name is Ambrose Kaya, I'm calling from Kentucky, but I think I never wanted to call in, but just what he was just saying about this, 4 gentlemen tarnishing their reputation because saying the government is hand in them leaving or the government have bribed them. You're not supposed to tolerate that. Myself, if I'm saying something inappropriate, you're supposed to cut me off or not allow me to.
Yeah, what we do.
It's freedom of speech, man. Freedom of speech.
What we do here, we hold people accountable, and that's why you heard me saying and to ask him because like it comes from out of himself. I see no evidence. I don't see anything in such considering what is going on following the case. Almost 2 years ago, I told very few people at the time here, I got a phone call with this whole Stanton thing, a lady from New Jersey. But she was not willing to come public. She was not willing to show me anything to validate her argument. And I knew very well all of that is some sort of a liability. You can't tell me, so, because I want to make news, because I want to break news, somebody doing X, Y, Z, when I have nothing to argue, when there's a lawsuit to be slammed. I mean, because when you slam somebody and when you defame people's character without you coming out with something that, and she was not willing to send us something. They said they were working out things. I said, okay, if you're ready, let us know. So to your point, he has the right to make a point, but we also have the right to kind of like kick back to ask information. I don't think that will help the problem.
No, but I totally agree because I listen to everything. You the question here. I see you're doing your job. But my only point I'm trying to raise, so your platform is so unique, and you share good ideas and good information. I think, I know you maybe you know the gentleman, but your platform, you shouldn't be tolerating people coming over with.
So let me ask you, the way you're talking now, when other people disagree with you, I should cut you off?
Yeah. Oh no, because I'm not making any argument.
No, they will have their own. No, it's not that. The idea you're talking might not suit their taste. They will say, okay, maybe that person are talking, that CDC person or ANC person.
Oh,
we are not selected.
Wow. Maybe you not talk about job. Maybe you not talk about Joria, and I told you, and you question me. If you go back on your tape, I say I'm this for one time about Joria. I say I hate Joria. You got to correct me. You ask me over. Oh, do you hate me? I got to clarify myself. Say, no. I hate his presidency, the way he run the country, but he has.
So we all call. So let's allow, because what happened when we do not know how to discuss the national issues, we drive people away and we create more problem than we think we are helping the problem. So people just need to be made understand about certain things that's going on. The way they see it, I may not see it like that. And so if I see it much clearer, my job is to provide that sort of awareness, and that's what we want to do. We don't want to drive people away. It's all of us country. You have the right to say, all we call for on this network, civility, your language must be, You can call me CDC person. You can call me Unity. That one, it doesn't have no problem. But when mine calls and things kind of, then you're going to see the ugliness of the bamboo.
Okay, yeah, okay. And yeah, but that's what I wanted to say though. You see, Ben Saviden, myself, I call him a betrayal. But after listening to them on a couple of different shows, I can reason why they take the action. But I say that
so cut that man off.
I believe
cut the man off.
Word of Stanton James or Stanton Kingdom that he did prison, because I know in a labyrinth is a labyrinth that it's not somebody that went to that school.
You see, I think you apologize here tonight before you go. You didn't even investigate and you called them. Now you know now. So why you change from betrayal? On what basis you call them betrayal first?
Because I never knew Stanton have blocked them from all of his platform. When they say, because you know, like you get you get all people with you. I don't like Stanton. Stanton says a lot of things that piss me off. So that when we talk about
let's leave that. Let's leave that.
Mr. So Lawrence Fowler is really trying hard to get through.
Maybe Lawrence, if you can send me a
number. He's in Europe, so I think he's
I don't know. So what I wanted to say about them, because I'm of the belief, because they are saying, when you interview them, they'll tell you, you have given a hint that this man had this baggage. And the way they interrogate other people or they castigate other people, they never had that boss or that mindset to interrogate or to even to make a statement on their own platform and say, oh,
okay. We frown on that. They're supposed to talk about it. Even if there's something here, the panelists, other angle, they need to talk about it. And that's just been disproportionate to information sharing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, 26203 number 9037. Are you there? What's his name? Lawrence. I don't know if you can send me your number. I will try to get it and call you. I know you're trying. I'm not sure what's going on. Go ahead. 203.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. Go ahead quickly. Let's hurry up. Let's do a quick now. We can make 1 minute each. And go ahead, Keta. And then 317. Hold on.
I mean, so when I be taking Keta their phone number here, man. That Keta go sit down and rest.
I was just enjoying myself listening, but people started to call and want to connect Liberian government with the situation.
What the mention CDC Keta will come on.
And let me say something here. You got to be thinking very rationally, and you know when you come on this platform to talk, how is it that Liberian government we have a hand in this saga when the FBI were on the case for almost, I don't know how many, 5 years. Liberian government cannot dictate to the American government. What Stanton was doing here was wrong. Liberian government did not tell him to do what he did. The people on his platform.
Allegedly.
People on his platform that were chastising other people in our society, calling them criminals, calling them rapists, calling them rogue. The government should fire them, they should investigate them, they should go to court. I'm surprised at the ANC people that are on this platform, my brother Joker, that cannot even muster the courage to tell Dr. Francine, to get out of there. Because when one government official Dr. Francine said that guy should not appear.
Okay, Keto, hurry up now. Let's get to the other person.
What is happening now?
Keta get a link.
I know.
Why you can't come? Show your face.
Mr. You cannot tell Francine to back off from our show.
Yeah, okay. Enjoy. We have to and he left.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me just inbox me. I will appreciate that. Okay, I mean,
that's the entertainer to you.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's go to I believe Idiana. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, Mr. So, how you doing?
Good.
And your panelists.
Yeah, welcome.
I think my name is Prince Jacob from Indianapolis. I think the issue here is we Liberians, we like to rush into things. Then at the end of the day, then we find a different way out. When the whole thing started, people on social media, they just start carrying it. They don't know what was the cause. I'm not talking about Stanton. his legal issue. I'm talking about between he and his colleagues. But somehow we didn't know what was going on. People just start castigating the other guy. Oh, this what happened, this what happened, there, this and that, and we start playing all the songs. Now they are come out, going on the platform. Yeah, somehow we come back and we say, oh, we never knew that this was going on. So when something like that go on in the community, I think we have to relax and wait and get a fight before we start carrying our own gossip around. But we didn't do that. And that night, we listened to you, Yatini. And what you were saying that night, you were right. But people, immediately we hear something, we're not analyze, we're not wait to hear from both parties, we just go ahead and say, what do I want to say to please us? And this kind of thing, we need to stop it. But we also need to hear from Stanton. If at all, Mr. So, I don't know if you have the opportunity, you can talk to Stanton, or maybe a lawyer can make at least one-on-one to hear it on the side. Then we have to balance the story.
What I do know, Stanton cannot speak as much as we want him or he himself. He can't say anything now. Right now, it's an investigation. Anything coming out there can be used against him. And So unless his lawyer authorizes him to do something, hopefully at some point at the end of the day, when everything's settled, who knows? When he agreed to accept our invitation, like the guy should have been here this evening, but there's a cancellation, and so we understand things happen. So, but one of these days, hopefully, he will be able to get out of a comfort zone. I would love to see that happening.
Yeah, as for me, I will hold my peace and until we can hear both sides. I'm not going to get into one side.
Don't let it fall down.
Yes, I'm going to do that. So I follow you guys, and you guys do a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. 267 number 3278. Please hurry it up, and then I'll go to 507 before I go back to my guys for the closing argument. 267 number 3278. Are you there? Okay. Airplane can blow home. 507-6257. Good evening.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I am Lasama Kamara from Minnesota.
Okay, let's hear from you.
Okay. What I understood in the panelist case, it should be different. The guys, to my belief, I'm not trying to judge them now, but what I'm looking at, they got the rush. The rush by coming out, because from my observation, the whole thing is about Fagon. The panelist doesn't want Fagon on that show.
Is that what they said?
They said it. Too many said it. Said because Fagon talk too much.
It's an intriguing element.
So you see that as one of the factors.
He said Fagon talk too much, and Ben Savi said Fagon is too loud. I think the consulted with the manager said, keep the guy up.
Fagon is fire.
What they wanted to do, what I believe, I'm not saying it is the truth.
Right.
What I believe in, they wanted to control the show to kick Fagon out. Because if you look at the left side, Fagon is coming with more stories concerning the government, and the government said is not prepared to fight Fagon on that level. The only thing is to silence him on the platform. Because they say if I said the manager was treating them bad, he was not used to give them their right. Look, when did they realize that as the elderly people like that? At that age, if you wrong somebody, they're going to tell you, hey, you're not feeding me, I'm going to tell you the truth. If you pay me, I will tell you the truth, you're not treating me right. But they kept silent until the mayor got into trouble. That is his own personal affair.
Right.
Okay. But after the mayor got into trouble, they were still carrying on the program. But the time Fagon continued to come in more rapidly than they have, that's where the issue comes from. And if you look at Fagon's show, Fagon is so emotional towards the three guys because they try to step on him.
I think I listened to him this evening. He's kind of like providing some sort of like consultation, asking Stanton to speak to his lawyer and his wife the possibility of responding to these.
Yeah, because Fago is trying to fight his own case that here I should remain on the program because of I can say this, I know how to talk. And then I say, no, you too loud. You not need to be on the program. We can call you in, but you can't be a permanent panelist on the program.
Okay, thank you so much.
That is my view.
Thank you so much.
I think we need to get rid of some panelists on this program too.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this guy.
It's a friend, I think.
Are you there, 267? 267, are you there?
I support you, Cesar.
So I don't know why. 267, are you there?
We try to gather the ELC people.
Yeah, Dr. Toto, you know who got to kick out of here?
So, gentlemen, before people keep calling. I don't know why wrong his number when you call. Then he's okay. Let me give you one more. Okay, let me see. Hello, caller, are you there?
Yeah, Mr. So, good afternoon.
Yeah, what wrong with your phone? You get virus?
No, I was on mute every time.
My man was talking about ANC virus. As well as I say, wait, I no can't get.
No. that is broom. The air blowing too much.
Man, nothing can pass by him. My goodness. Wow.
If phones will go up, then you keep talking plenty. No, he get good.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, Mr. So, thank you for the show, and I want to say thanks to the panelists. But my question goes to the ANC men that on the panelists.
Oh my! You come and start trouble. We come and finish here. Don't come start trouble, yo.
Yeah,
go ahead, G.
I want to know about. I want you to give us the update on this 5K that got missing. One, and then two. I want to know because I was just reading certain information from Alexander Kumi is I think in what the African country name? Oh God,
Kenya.
And he was talking about he was saying that in Kenya talking about creating jobs in Liberia. So I want to know what are the people in Kenya are the ones that are supposed to be voting for Cummings? Because you go sit down there to talk about creating jobs. I think you're going to be sitting in Liberia to talk about creating jobs, but you're in Kenya talking about creating jobs in Liberia. So can the brother explain that to us more? Thank you, Mr. So.
And I get good. I can't talk go flower.
What kind of language are about to go? You start here, so. But who is strong? So, yeah, man, in Kenya?
Yeah, he was in Kenya. He went to Kenya. And that was an interview. The guy he was
Louis Brown on the trip with him. He, Louis Brown, and
come on, sister, he was Louis Brown on the trip. He was in Kenya. And this gentleman was asking. So obviously, they know that he's running for president for Liberia. So this question will come forward. And the question on how you're going to do things. So my brother is not that when you're running for leadership, when you go out of the country, people will ask the question. Just how Ambassador Boakai come here, people will asking. Just out there, we're going to come and have a town hall, many people will ask them how they're going to do it.
Answer your own question.
That was the reason he was responding to those questions. So it's not something strange that a leader traveled to ask them about the home, what they intend to do there. That was the reason he was saying creating jobs in Liberia when you were in Kenya. You cannot travel as a leader and the people ask you about your country or what you're going to do, and you say you can't speak on it because you're out of the country. So it's just simple.
Oh, he's
Mani listening, Mr.
Lucini, wow. You see the way he answered, the way the guys, the way they trouble, oh man, the way he took his time to explain. I hope you must be calling every time. Maybe he will help to explain Kumi policy. They want no flour in it. My goodness.
No flour.
Last not getting this.
Let me call. Why are you calling my name? Let me call. It was a follow-up question.
Dr. Toto.
I'm
saying, yeah, listen. They said Dr. Toto and Mr. So, they had come in to be, and Koto, they had come in to be someone forced on the show here. And I'm not forcing.
Oh, you're not.
If you quack like a duck and walks like a duck,
so on the 5,000 issue, on the 5,000 issue, like many criminal related matter.
Yeah, Lawrence was so sorry. I don't know why you're not getting through, but
when that when such a thing happened that he have internal investigation link between national police, and the findings from there should be part of the exhibit for prosecution, and the court, it should be on the head of the government to prosecute. Those findings are channeled through those manner, are part of the pieces of evidence that should be adduced towards the process of the court litigation. And so, again, it is with the government, and the government will come up with a verdict, like they did in the case of Mr. Cummings, and say that it never had any further case, to push against Mr. Cummings given the allegation. So I just like you to be a little patient. And political leaders going to different terrain, maybe in other country, it does not restrict the journalists to ask you about your country. So to suggest that Mr. Cummings should have come back to Liberia and wait for the Liberian journalists to ask him before he talk about development issue in his country is probably he wants to borrow some of the good minds, some of the good ideas that he see happening in that country as part of his dream for his country. And that's why you're trying to communicate to the world.
You're not talking about creating job at the port of Mombasa, eh?
Eh?
You're not talking about creating job at the port of Mombasa, eh?
Yeah, generally when you come to America, they ask you about Liberia, baby. It cannot be that. It cannot be. Yeah, as I say, a judge that will come in to California and you were talking about Bridget Bene, it doesn't mean that you coming to Bay Bridge in San Francisco. So you are talking about the things that are happening home to connect. And remember, Liberians are in Kenya.
The caller had a good question. So, I'm just having a follow-up on the question.
I know.
You're not talking about a Rift Valley job or the Port of Mombasa job and things like that.
No, you're talking about Freeport. And the CTM.
Okay, well, guys, I wish Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren, keep having.
Yeah, sometimes to get some WhatsApp number, sometimes you try getting the number, you can't get through. But that's it.
Send it to your inbox, Mr. So. I think.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell him to send it. I think he see it, but for some reason he's not getting it. Yeah, the guy you see there. Let me see what I.
But why you trying to get a call? This spoon situation is becoming so interesting. Liberians, I just sometimes laugh. We are in a country that is called the mother of democracy, a country who cherishes the rule of law. This country has apprehended the.
Who called your country mother of democracy?
This country had. Since I'm coming, 1 minute.
Let's speak history.
You come. This country had tried its utmost best to hold people accountable within her geographical space, and even advise other countries about holding people accountable. This alleged person is already going through a litigation process. He has not agreed to being guilty, whatever the nature is. We are already concerned about we Liberians, and we have even forgotten those people that were sanctioned, that our own government has not shown courage, our own taxpayer money has been stolen, but other people are holding people accountable, and they will bring them to book, and if they are vindicated, they will be vindicated according to the law. So when I see some of us running, while that Richardson can leave the platform and the entity, they are separate partners from the individual.
Is that Lawrence?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Good morning. Go ahead.
Good morning to you guys, the panelists on the show.
Good morning.
And good morning to our listening audience.
Okay, let's hear you about it. At least thank God.
I want to thank you guys for the platform, for maintaining the platform and maintaining the sanity of the platform. I would love to speak to the issue of the situation with the legislative branch of government.
Okay, let's hear you.
You know, most often we lament about the executive branch of government abusing her power. But in actuality, I think the legislative branch of government in our country is our problem. And until we can have that branch sanitized, Liberia will not be able to move forward. I say this because we've seen it. We saw it during the Madame Saliv administration, where she used cash violence on numerous occasions to have things done her way. She started setting bad precedents after the civil crisis. I cannot speak to Liberia before the civil crisis, but I can speak to Liberia's situation after the civil crisis because that was what I witnessed. She started setting the bad precedents. She got Tyler out with money, and yes, she got Snow out with money, yes. She influenced budgetary activities with money, yes. And that's a fact that some of you guys on the show are cognizant of. Now, after Madame Saliv, we are seeing it with this current administration. Everything that they do in the house, in the both houses, they use cash. And it's a bad thing that people who are elected to go and serve for the common good of the Liberian people will sell their integrity, will mortgage the right of the people for peanuts. That is the most powerful branch of government, the legislative branch of government, in terms of functionality. They have the right to cite the president. The president cannot fire a lawmaker. I was just going through something on one of the local media outlets, and I saw Yeke Koluba displaying, talking about the passage of the budget. And he said the section, they were not going to hold session because there were items in the national budget that the finance minister or the budget committee could not account for. If we could just continue in that line, a lot of things will go right in our country. I tell you, this government over the past 5 years have abused the national budget. If I just sit here today and try to scrutinize budgets of the past, you will see all of the ills. Some of us will go through them. We see them. But we just have to let it go because we are not in the place or the position to come up with these things or to make statements because we don't have the platform. But frankly speaking, it is sad. And Liberia is retrogressing on a daily basis. If we cannot get this right in 2023, I tell you, it will give that government another 6 years. We're going to go back another 20 years. It's going to be worse than the civil crisis. Look at what is happening. The economy is in total shambles. We need somebody to rescue that country. That is why the opposition bloc
okay, quickly.
needs...
Quickly. Thank you so much being awake. This type of hour from Europe is, I believe, for the love of the country. We need somebody. We can't let people just roller skate here and go. Have you found a person?
Well, even because it will seem like it's my choice, right? And it's based on what I've seen.
Right.
And I think the person for that job, preferably the first seat, is the former vice president.
Ambassador Boyka.
And I say this speaking to his character, speaking to his competence, speaking to his years of services, speaking to the tangibles that you can attribute to him.
You already accused by the Eddie Johnson government. They talk about the vice president.
So
yes.
Okay, you see, that's one of the opposition. If you were to ask you, what is the difference between Johnson and Ambassador Boyka? Ambassador Boyka serves as the
argument.
Right?
It is not equivalent. It is not. Sorry, it is not equivalent to the presidency. I disagree on that.
I will enjoy the column or the column message. What you on there?
Equivalent in the sense that when the
you are using the word if. You just use the word if. And all through the Saliv administration, you never saw anything of such from her. You saw a robust Ellen Johnson Saliv who took blame for $30 million that was squandered at Noka.
What was the ambassador on the blame? Do you know? Is there any blame?
Ambassador on a blame as to what?
No, you say Helen Johnson Saliv took blame.
Ambassador, glorify it.
Also, Ambassador Boycott represented the government of Liberia on numerous occasions. Right? So, are you saying the blame of the president is distant from that of the blame of the vice president?
Yes, greatly. It's almost like having a minister, like the Minister of Finance, comparing his functions with that of a civil servant, not even a director, but some janitor or janitorial staff at the Ministry of Finance. That is it.
Do you know of anything where Ambassador?
No,
that is the gap between the presidency and the vice presidency.
No, Enforcer, that put our corner to a hot. You can't let him run to that thing that he did.
No, I mean, yes.
Yeah,
if you gave me chance or give me the platform, I will justify everything that.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
You want to bring janitor to the president? You want to bring the janitor to the?
I just need to know what the vice president, vice president ever disagree with the president in terms of policy you know about.
Probably he did not come up to the media or to any media outlet. He wasn't vocal, but I can tell you for sure in his actions and deeds, they were clear.
Probably he wasn't.
What? Which
action? Almost 18 years.
Yes, I can say that. The only time the vice president spoke about him not being fully utilized was during the campaigning process, the 2017 campaigning process, that he spoke of him being a race car. Now, he used figurative language, and we all understand that. He talked about himself being a race car. That means with his capacity, his level of intelligence, competence, and education, and he wasn't being utilized to the fullest. So if given the opportunity to serve at the helm of government, he will be able to function as Joseph Newman Parker, not as a vice president to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who you and myself know fully well that you cannot override her decisions. There's a lady that everything she wanted in life, she got it by whatever means.
No. Okay.
So the United Party, they were?
No. But Joseph Walker says
to you, right? You and myself, probably maybe they interacted, but you could clearly see from whenever they appear, even with the electionary process in 2017, my brother, there is no way this president, this vice president, and this president will be on the same plate or will be on the same track. And then she will not support this vice president to continue her beautiful legacy that she claimed that she left. For some of us who know that all of her policy makings and policy machineries, they were absolutely a thing of failure because passing policies and not implementing them, you feel massively.
They cannot say anyone's a failure. This man cannot say anyone's a failure.
Hello? Yeah, anybody want to say something?
Yes.
I want to say something quickly.
Yeah. Which part of that breaker from?
Yeah.
Which part of that breaker from?
Which part of that come from?
Yeah,
hey, God. Let's not dwell upon that. Let's speak to the issue, right?
No,
it is not about where I come from. It's about the issue. If you want us to have a simple conversation, let's not be sentimental here. I never benefited the Unity Party government. I never benefited anything from the Unity Party government. But I'm telling you.
Anybody get any question there? So we'll
I got a question for me.
I got a comment. Yeah, do it this way here. They are our callers. They expressing their views. They expressing their opinion. Do we agree with it? Absolutely not. But we have to give them a chance. That's how they feel.
The ANC people fair because they make take.
No, I'm not vexed.
You see
my problem here is that Mr. Caller, my problem here is that.
Jennifer, what your question? Let's do it one at a time.
My question here will be directed in the form. This may claim that the Unity Party government, that JMB served as vice president, second man in command. He said that the government is a failure. How do you appraise the vice president out of that failure?
Okay, hold on 1 second. Pa George, do you have a question?
Yeah, let me just phrase it this way.
Please, can you allow me to address the questions singularly? That means individually.
Satire.
You know, make sure. Start here. I want to make sure you understood singularly.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Another line bumping here. We actually overtime here, but okay, you want to address that?
Okay.
Ali, put it.
Yes, he talk about praising the vice president that served 12 years with this president that I claim failed massively. Now, like I stated, right, I gave a simple example with that of the Minister of Finance and a janitorial staff at the Minister of Finance. Now, we all know that the president of Liberia has that exclusive right. In fact, the presidency or the presidential seat has what we call the veto power. That is the most powerful tool that any individual in government can use, and it is only ascribed to the presidency. That was one advantage Madam Salif had. That was one. Now, two, if you check Joe Barker and Ellen Johnson Salif 12 years tenure.
Was the president vetoing the VP?
This lady, in all of her doings, we follow closely. In most instances, in most cases, she never sought his advices or never sought his advice.
Why you got
Wow.
Well, wait, hold on. Hold on there.
Look, we can't say everything out here. But I am telling you for a fact, and some of you guys sit up over there are fully aware of that.
But you can say it publicly against her.
This is a lady, this is a president who had all of her children occupying key positions in government, and the vice president never had any of his children occupying governmental position as head of institution.
Lauren, hold on one second.
You can't do this, man. Lauren, you can't do this, Lauren.
We have to wrap up. What you say? Let's go ahead.
I just have two questions for my brother. I'm trying to really understand the point he's making here. When you talk about veto, is it the assumption that the president will use veto power against the vice president? Because we're talking about the president and the VP, and you brought in veto. And then the next is, if the vice president knew that his counsel was not being taken, why did he run the second term for the same president? Why didn't he resign and refuse to run the second term under Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to maintain his integrity?
Okay, that's a good one. Why he didn't resign? In my belief, he probably wanted them to go on after her tenure. Probably he would have had the opportunity to serve. Yeah. Then he was going to be judged based on his own service instead of
what a talking point together better.
Hello.
Lauren,
let me just ask my question, Mr.
Then, if that your judgment is right from ambassador that you compromise here because he wants to, who says when you leave it, you can't go as a so we'll go quick. 914 number not being bossing. Are you there? 914?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, what's your name and where you calling from? Go ahead quickly.
My name is Steven. I'm calling from Tennessee.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what I'm going to say is that one that calls on the show is her own opinion. My to the panelists are, I would love that everybody be quiet and listen to what I see everybody jumping. I mean, you guys are mature people. We discussing issues concerning the nation. And so when someone calls and they're trying to voice or their opinion, right. I think you be quiet and listen and do at a time to answer. It's like the whole thing just looking messy up.
That's a good observation. Thank you
very
much. We will thank you. Yeah, and thank you very much. That's a good observation. Those are good advices and a good observation because these people come in listen. In Alma, we want to hold people, but we must also give them the opportunity to express, to make their voices, their views air, and where we see it to be fixed, we can be gone. But thank you so much. I think we will improve on that.
You're welcome. All right. God bless you guys, man. You're continuing good work.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. We'll improve on that. You know, everybody try to protect their own area, so sometimes it's sort of emotion and kick in. But the way it started with
that the ANC people that created a problem here.
Yeah, gentlemen, I think the night has gone too long.
Yeah.
Let's get ready to go because they already. Hey man,
that lady wanted to ask a question to the ANC. Please pick up.
Yeah, you said somebody to call.
I see about she been commenting.
So you the producer now.
Are you there?
Cesar is the producer.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, all right, folks. Let's listen. I think somebody just provided a tutorial for us here. Good evening. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hi, Mr. So. Hi, everyone. This is Tim Bongi. I just have a quick question.
Okay. For whom? Who is it going to?
The ANC panelists for, I'm not sure what the right word to use for them, since they didn't want telling Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings is known, or as he's being sold to the Liberian people, as this very clean person that has worked in corporate America, and he's the best man for the job. Now, a quick disclaimer, I'm not a member of any political party. I don't support anybody right now because nobody paid me. When they pay me, I will support them. So nobody hold me responsible and say I'm speaking for somebody. Back to my question. Mr. Cummings is being sold as this person who has worked in corporate America. We all know in this country, when you get up to a certain level, you have done well. I do appreciate him. I'm proud of him for a Liberian to get up to that level. However, my questions are, one, is Mr. Cummings an American? Because it can be said, even though he denies it, but for the record, I just want to have the panelists on the record, right? It can be said that before you reach to a certain level in this country, you must be a part of the system. And we all know what that means. Now, number two, is there any benchmark that Mr. Cummings set in Coca-Cola that he can point to and say, that's my baby? For example, before I came to the United States, I was working at Freeport with the corporate security coordinator office. And I did come up with a whole booklet of policies and procedures. So that's my baby. What is Mr. Cummings' benchmark? Number three, do you think Mr. Cummings is responsible partly for the suffering of the Liberian people today because he literally did not act as a leader in 2017 and make a decision to send his organization in the right direction, and he just left them like the shepherd leaving the sheep to just go about and do whatever they want to do? Thank you.
You're going to make this guy going to have a nightmare.
What a nightmare.
No nightmare.
No, that is just take it one, Mr. So.
Okay, let me take the.
Let's listen quietly. Jonathan, go first if you want to go first. Or you want to have a meeting on that? To who going first?
No, he ain't about to toss the coin.
So let me deal with the American situation and the supposedly working in certain areas in America having certain nationality. Mr. Cummings has said repeatedly that he's a Liberian, has always been a Liberian, and maybe someday die a Liberian. That is what he has said.
Is that a reason why Mr. Cummings always stops in Ghana and never flies straight to Liberia?
Hello? I don't want this conversation to be a conversation where I will start intruding in the corner like the other callers told us. So that is why
you're right. I apologize for that. I just didn't want it to skip my top. I apologize.
Fire on the mountain. Run. It's a great
fire. Sister, please start the trouble here, please.
So being an American citizen, as one would like to speculate, someone said it before 2017 when I was the deputy spokesperson of the party. And that was Madam Yata Formula. Nobody will go at the Hedgeler or Coca-Cola except they are American citizens. That was foodless. I mean, there are people who are served in the legal area at Coca-Cola, there are people who are served at different level. You got to come up with the fight to suggest otherwise, as you suggest it. Mr. Comey has said repeatedly that he's a Liberian. On the 2017 aspect, it was a party. So when he said why Mr. Comey didn't tell his people, is that he owned the people in the party, and anytime he wants to tell them where to go, they can go. The party made a decision, like Liberty Party did 2005. It was not the first time for party to make that decision. Liberty Party did 2017. It was just members of Liberty Party that endorsed Unity Party on.
You're not blaming other parties. They will ask you directly about
Mr. So, I want to make a follow-up question.
I'm coming. I know when you see me acquire, it doesn't mean I ain't got something to throw in between that question there, but I just want to give that difference. I'm saying that for ANC to make a decision that they are not going to support either side was a political party decision.
I understand, sir. You have to repeat it. I got you. I come in about the follow-up question because if that is the argument, then what is the point? What is the point before you even finish that? What is the point of Mr. Cummings trying to be a president when he cannot even serve as a leader for his party to direct them in the right path? When he would just sit and say, "Oh, because I'm not a leader, the party decided." Who is the party? Last time I checked, Mr. Cummings was undoubtedly the standard bearer of ANC since the inception of ANC. Nobody has ever stood up against him. It's
diabolical. It's an upside down argument to be rooted from the better of the devil.
It's not an argument, it's a question.
It's not a question. It's not a question. It's not a question. He said the last time I checked. But when he said the last time I checked, no, I come in. When he said the last time I checked, and he talking to a funding and incorporated ANC.
Okay, the last time I checked, has there been anybody up against
I like that question. Let me answer that question.
Hold on one second. Let me add a little layer to
hold on one second. I seem to have blown him off.
Yeah, let me add a little layer to a question.
Let me come in there.
No, you do nothing.
Hold on. I want to add a little bit layer here. There seems to be a contradiction in response to her question. You see, it's the party. But he was the same comment here. He said he told his party members to go ahead and make a decision. So who is telling us?
Okay.
I come in. So how will the same party allow him to take a decision and then in turn telling the party members to go whatever ways they want to go?
Excuse me 1 minute. Let us disturb the audience here backing you. When in a democracy, when you say the party should make decision, which it is majoritarianism, which is a word I will define, it means that it will become an agenda issue. The party will discuss it. The party will vote on it. There will be record made for it. So when you say that the party will make a decision, does it mean that Mr. Cummings just direct the point and say, do this and do someone do it? Is that how party function?
You're confusing us.
I'm not confusing you.
Cummings told us here.
Mr. So, I'm sorry for the interruption.
Let me tell you on the issue.
I don't seem to be getting anywhere with this. The answer to my question.
You are not getting anywhere because the question is rooted in deception. You cannot come and say.
Thank you so much.
Since you have known the ANC, and have Mr. Cummings external bill for its inception. It is wrong.
Okay, well, guys,
it is irrational.
It's almost 10:30.
ANC give me the formation 2013. I'm a phony member of ANC.
The boy injury or in case that the boy injury was
I'm trying to engine off.
We had to go.
Yeah, it's 10:30, right? Normally we hear up to 10 o'clock. We have gone extra 30 minutes here. But I think that is a question here. Hopefully, maybe I have the opportunity for us to meet Mr. Cummings. You say you are going to have him here. So what happened with our conversations here, Doraka?
Mr. So, when the last time Mr. Cummings was here?
The last time I hosted him? That almost 2 years ago.
Yeah,
No.
he have been making rounds. I think the last time you hosted him again, I had 2 years. It was just
No.
December. You hosted Mr. Cummings December for Sacramento.
Who?
So you hosted Mr. Ellis Cummings.
I hosted him.
We carry the program, we didn't hosting.
To your program, we relay the program.
Yeah.
We cover the program, we didn't hosting.
You carry the program.
Wow.
But that's not hosting.
Yeah.
Make your closing statement. Let's go home.
Yeah.
Statement, because a lot of time, Bongi really
like
kind
I
of
said-
go over here this evening. Yeah,
Like
let's
I
what's
said,
the final
Mr. Cummings
1 minute
will-
each. Let's do it, please.
Quickly, 1 minute. Mr. Cummings will definitely come on the platform. It's just because of scheduling, and we'll make sure we work on it because that's how we get our messages out through independent media like your station and other several platforms. But I'd just like to say that we have discussed too many different issues, and I maintain the composure that the budget passage is a responsibility of the legislature. Our legislature should be held responsible, be it which political party you come from. It is not just about party business. It is a driving tool that defines our economy. And for us to just be passing the manner and form that it can be passed, it is not helpful to us. That is why we want to take the 2023 that all of us believe in to set an example with a leader that has a tune, that has a record, that can tell his own lawmakers that, hey, this is wrong. You might partisan, but this one is completely wrong. Even though there will be no action taken in terms of whether you can remove them, not remove them, but at least you register your voice that it was wrong. We hope that many leaders can come up to be able to say such a thing. But a legislature that does not have better bathroom, a legislature that does not have website, I'm wondering how one is thinking that an individual in that legislature going to transform the narrative of that legislature.
John, thank you so
Yes.
much. George,
Yeah.
let's keep it to the point.
Let me say this briefly, just quickly. Mr. Cummings is a Liberian. And if anybody feels that Mr. Cummings is now a Liberian, that he cannot run for president, they have the right to take it to court. Just simple. As far as I'm concerned, he's a Liberian. And if anybody has a reservation about it, they can go to the court. The court will provide remedy to that issue. Now, the issue, I don't know, my sister, when last she flew directly from wherever she is to Liberia directly, I don't know about that. Because I know the route I go from Brussels either to Ghana or from Morocco to Ghana, then to Liberia. So if that is a crime, then of course you can go and see remedy to that. But I know from where I sit in America, nobody fly directly to Liberia. If that happened recently, she can tell me. But I know it's not happening. So the question is, Mr. Ellie flying to Ghana before going to Liberia? Maybe if there's other flight that she know that can go directly to Liberia, then I'll ask her to recommend that airline to me so I can buy my ticket to go directly from Atlanta to Monrovia. So
Dr. Toto?
That's the issue. So the issue, let me just go. So here's the thing here. And I'm willing, please get in touch with the four guys. Please get in touch with the four guys or from the Spoon Talk. Let the council have some questions to ask them. Please. Because I don't want to say anything behind
You
it.
came late, Mr. George.
Yeah.
I say you came late. They were scheduled for tonight and they called
That's
for...
what I'm saying. I heard you, but I said I hope they should appear here. I hope that they should come so we can have a conversation about
We'll look out.
yeah.
So, yeah, we're getting a lot of
information.
Yeah, when the way the fire was coming on the mountain, I had to put glasses on my face.
No, man.
Okay,
yeah, okay. Let me just say, very good show tonight, and also to the callers. The brother interesting point. And let me just rather quick apology to Emmanuel. But I said when he came
Lawrence.
Lawrence rather, I didn't be to be said there to just share some fun. But I didn't really be to be personal to him. Let me just, if you take it away, let me just apologize to him. But for the initial stage of the show, we all front on the same issue. The problem we have in Liberia, but not just so to the executive, but also in the head of the legislature. There are zero problem to the problem in Liberia, and it closely also to with the panel from Spoon FM, a lot of people raise concern about that. Also, too, I would not let to go too deep into that. Also, too, I understand where they come from. I'm trying to engage it. I know some of them personally, like Peabody, or we are coming from Norway, from refugee days in Ghana. So maybe by sitting with them also will try to get more in deep on what is going on. But at the end of the day, they did what they could do and a normal person could do. But very good discussion tonight.
And a normal person could do.
Thank you so much. All right, sister.
Yeah, very good show. Stimpongay.
That is very good show. They're going to bring something.
Every night when you see Jonathan Oya in Moka, I like how you put his salad too late. You go around. Two ASD people who is still answering more questions.
That's the kind of platform.
How you can get me chance again back?
I'm making your own closest statement. Wow.
Or you're trying to do hostile takeover again, corporate merger again. I'm not selling myself.
My brother,
I see that people were to fight me on every time. Nothing about ASC Bennett. I leave it with Stimpongay. What I'm going to talk about, however, is the issue on the Spoon Talk stuff. Look, I really don't at this point have to hear Stanton. There is enough information out there from the mouth of the 4 bare hand eaters. The men who felt that they were eating with spoon, the spoon not going, now they got to wash their hand and eat. They themselves have put enough stuff in the ethos that we can look at and make some analysis on. I don't care at this point about, because it has nothing to do with the indictment of Stanton Witherspoon. I cannot blame the CDC government for anything, and I agree 100% with Jonathan, with Ketter, that this is not anything that has to do with the government. This is just a way of trying to defray stuff. These 4 grown men, educated men, have to tell the people, define their relationship with Spoon. Were they employees when Spoon, when that man was giving them money and flying them around that they have to account for on their W-2s? Were they independent contractors that got 1099? How were they reporting the money that man was giving them? How were they reporting all of these gifts with flying around and being in hotel rooms? How? Were they shareholders?
You run the poor will.
Well, hold on. Were they shareholders? Were they receiving dividends and corporate earnings statement? Or were they there friends with benefits? For me, I don't want to come and discuss stuff here if they cannot define for us what was their relationship to the network. Beyond that, I ain't got nothing to talk about that thing. That buy your play. I'm not going to elevate it. And then for a grown man to be calling another person's husband, spouse, to try to talk to them about getting off a platform to be in solidarity with them, that is disrespectful.
So that's why I say, man, I hold my peace and let it come.
You're not holding your peace.
You're not
holding your peace. Look, I mean, those guys, I know them, they're going to come. We know the kind of conversation that we keep here, so they are coming, and like I said, they're not coming to go into Lions Den. They are not going on trial. There's not going to be no jury here to kind of like render a decision.
The IRS will be watching to see how they claim those money on their taxes.
The post can take it. So
well, guys, we're going to draw the curtain down this evening. I want to thank all of you so much. Please. Maybe hopefully, Jonathan, in the next season, you will answer Bangit questions. And I think that was that question there, it was some kind of way.
That question, the good thing about that question is good that should be on the platform.
I think Mr. Cummings can be the proper person. Guys, we're not going to relegate this conversation. Thank you so much. Have a pleasant
evening. Very good question.
Thank you so much. Have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye. Okay. Well, folks, I'm Alfonso Z, and sort of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. Seeing a friend and brother here, Mr. Bashir, Daniel, chilling with us. I'm not sure whether he's in Liberia or Ghana right now. Daniel, Big D, good morning, wherever you are. Thank you so much for sharing your evening with us. Hey, look, Lawrence, and on behalf of the network, our sincere apologies. I think we just went over the top. It shouldn't have happened, and I can assure you we're going to improve on that. LPR, we do not sanction voices here. We allow everybody to express their views and their opinion, but equally they are held accountable. And you are very tolerant and patient in answering some of our questions here. So please do not allow this one incident to drive you away. This network is a network, and that's why we are Liberia Public Radio. All voices, no one. We intend to leave no one behind. To all our callers and those that have been tweeting, the exchange, the interaction, it's very much fascinating, rewarding. Usually after this program, trust me, I go back to review, to read every comment because it's a good learning lesson. You know the reactions, you know the responses from your viewers, some of the things that they are concerned with, and that's exactly what we need to do. We need to exercise political tolerance, not just under the politicians. We as a facilitator, even the followers, the onliners also need to exercise that political tolerance. It is the paved way to safer conversations. We should not shove things in the throat of people. Until we can allow people to express their views, their opinion, and that's what the civilized men say conference, to sit around the table and sort out the differences using persuasive method. This is what we want to call our politicians to do. And if we are calling on people to do that, we should exhibit that as well. So Lawrence, I would sincere apologies. That's what happened when you have people who are politically mind-driven. All of these people, they try to protect their political interest. And so once you call their people name, oh boy, their brain, their cholesterol and blood pressure goes over the roof. But we can assure you that in subsequent time to come, we will improve. This usually don't happen here. We will improve on that, and we will make sure and take every step that I will respect those that come here, take up their time, morning, evenings, afternoon, depending on your locations. Their voices are heard, whether by callings or their comments. Only thing we retain is maintain civility at all times. What we hope the guys from our sister network, they were a lot of time for us, and we're going to have them here. Until then, it's 10:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here. I am Alfonso Z, and so thank you so much. Let's keep the conversations of our country going. It is a sovereign nation, diverse society. The country is polarized politically. It's heavily divided because everybody tries to protect his or her own little alligator, unknowingly they are right. That's the situation we have. We have to deal with it. Have a pleasant evening. Let me send you in the southeastern side of Liberia with this beautiful traditional song. I say I'm a traditionalist. Have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.
Knock more, knock more, knock more. Knock more, knock more, knock more. Knock more now, everywhere with you. Knock more, knock more, knock more. Knock more, knock more, knock more.
Do you want to share your events with the world? Why not contact us? We are Liberia Public Radio, LPR. We are the specialists in advertisements, commercials, radio and TV services. We have the professionals that can help you sell your products and provide live coverage of all events, such as weddings, conventions, graduations, reunions, anniversaries, sports, birthdays, baby showers, religious activities, funerals, and many more. Take your phone right now and call any of the following numbers: 682-433-8802, 267-648-6089, 484-786-888.